But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
With the rockets or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. They were too fast to get okay.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's light in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
Won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1 0
doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Well, good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, DLive, and Kick. Oh, man. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, you know what? This is something that's been stuck in my brain for so many years now. I can't seem to shake the idea of the Zeitgeist being alive. Actually alive in terms of us, right? Could nobody hear? Test 1, 2. Uh-oh. Sound before we get going. How about we sound check 1, 2? I'm seeing some chat out there suggesting that there's no audio. Please sound check 1, 2. Yes, indeed. Yeah, okay, so I'll buy us a second here. And yes, maybe, just maybe. Yes, indeed. Okay, that's coming through on the YouTube stream. Okay, I hear that. I see that. Okay, anyway. All right, I'll fix that in a second here, the other part. I see you guys in the chat. I'll say hi at the bottom of the hour. All right, here's the deal, right? Now, regarding us, the noosphere, the sphere of human ideas. I talk about this stuff a lot because it's stuck in my brain because I don't understand how it works, meaning that you can think about this forever and try and quantify it or unquantify it or twist it in a knot and I don't know, wave some physics wands or terms at it. And I don't think it ever can really sort of reconcile with how complicated it is, because we're talking not just, let's say, the entirety of human thought swirling and growing and changing like this bizarre, massive maelstrom of just chaos and order and everything in between. But then, of course, it's something that's been seized upon by people the world over. I mean, you look at Napoleon, you look at Alexander the Great, we're talking conquerors in that capacity, but you don't get that level of sort of support from other people in your realm, in your space, in your world without first conquering the actual zeitgeist. And so clearly it's something that can be manipulated. The noosphere, the zeitgeist, this swirling maelstrom I'm describing tonight. But the question becomes not just are we, cannot hear anything on Discord? Okay, YouTube is fine, but Discord cannot hear anything. Okay, that's good. That's fantastic. Okay, I guess I'll have to fix that. But okay, anyway, maybe we'll just do the phone line tonight. Okay, anyway, sorry about that. But yeah, okay, so, but that's been on my mind quite a lot recently because as you see things changing, not just in terms of, let's call it, the political space. It's the easiest one, right? In the last 10 years, the political space has turned inside out and upside down. And, not like it's ever been stable or solid or spectacular or anything, right? But it is definitely one of those things that's, politics, ick, right? Like I feel like I need to take a shower just mentioning it. But it is something that has changed quite a bit in the last 10, 12, 15 years. Now, regarding that, it's not the only thing. Culture has changed. All manner of culture is changing. Of course, we're becoming more fractured, as I'm always talking about, those binary aspects of ideas. But then beyond that, there's the larger aspect of what I would describe as the zeitgeist itself. Now, we're clearly part of it, and are we part of it on the basis of that we're let's say it's the entity manipulating us, or we are sort of the entities not manipulating it, sort of participating in the manipulation of ourselves. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. It's a weird way to put it, and I'm sorry about that. Like I said, lots of things going through my mind in the moment because apparently the audio is broken. I hope it's not broken in more than one place. Sound check in all the places. Pretty please. I have no idea why Discord would just break suddenly because it's been working fine for however long. Anyway, so here we go. I'm going to read some of this from the write-up because it's very good. So the spirit of the times may not merely reflect human activity, but instead function as its own kind of intelligence, which is what I'm talking about tonight, broadcasting cultural instructions through channels that defy our normal understanding of communication. The so-called zeitgeist, typically seen as a byproduct of collective trends and social movements, is here reframed as a transmitting entity. This entity doesn't whisper its agenda through newspapers or television, but instead through dreams, symbolic visions, synchronicities, and the subtle stirrings of the collective unconscious. And that is where this kind of strikes me as, all right, it feels as if it's this larger entity, this massive thing that we're always dealing with, not just in our waking moments, in our actual, leisure moments when we're watching TV, even we're watching a baseball game or we're watching anything, Netflix and chill, if you get my meaning. Whatever's going on, there's something happening here where we're tuned in and also broadcasting to and receiving from this ever-present zeitgeist moment, which is always changing. Now, the reason I bring this up is because this whole thing, like I said, has got me kind of a little bit licked in terms of, I don't know what to think. I don't know how you can maybe even put a dent in this monstrosity, this maelstrom of ideas, because in that particular place or space, it seems to me that this is something that is accidental, or is it not? And so the largest question tonight, well, I have a lot of smaller questions and a lot of ideas, but of course, number one, do you think the zeitgeist itself is alive? Is it sort of a larger entity, an ultra entity that we deal with, and I don't know. It gets weird. Anyway, so, and of course, can we manipulate it directly and entirely? Because I do wonder. Anyway, so back to this. So the lens shifts, this lens shifts the question from what are we creating as a culture to what is being communicated to us through culture itself. You see what I mean? It's sort of the reciprocal aspect of sending information into this unquantifiable maelstrom, but also simultaneously receiving information back. And it's happening through every human node all over the planet all the damn time. And like I said, if that's not complicated enough, I don't know what is, but that's where we begin tonight. So in this case, moments in history marked by parallel discoveries or seemingly spontaneous waves of innovation may not be coincidental, as we've talked about previously. Instead, they could signal a pattern of non-local transmission, which means what? The simultaneous rise of quantum physics, psychoanalysis, and abstract art in the 20th century are a lot of different ways that describe this. And this is something this is a well-trodden path in the troubled minds space. However, the thing that comes to my mind is how can you actually hack this thing? Is it possible? I'm calling it hacking the zeitgeist tonight, guiding digital synchronicity. And is any of this possible whatsoever? And are we dealing with an entity that is an intelligence of its own? That puts us where we need to be. I'm going to restart Discord and come back and see if I can fix that real quick. But in the minute, I'm going to take a quick break and get a word from our sponsor. In this case, that would be Human Inspiration. Sorry about the audio difficulties, guys. I'll be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up in exactly 1 minute. Absolutely do not go anywhere. In a world increasingly shaped by AI, Human Inspiration remains the beating heart of creativity. Alien Skin by Tremble, a hauntingly beautiful piano ballad, reminds us that while algorithms can mimic art, the raw, unfiltered emotions of human experience are irreplaceable.
So here I sit, locked in my room again.
Written and composed by Jesse Ian in collaboration with Todd Smith, this progressive masterpiece delves into the depths of internalized grief and the silent toll of artistic compromise. As AI reshapes our reality, Alien Skin stands as a testament to the timeless power of human emotion and the complex beauty that only true artists can evoke. Experience the haunting beauty of Alien Skin by Tremble and support Human Inspiration. Available now on iTunes.
Okay. Test 1, 2. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Let us continue, shall we? Let me know if Discord is working or not. I'll start pushing other weird buttons. If it's not, sorry about that. I did restart it, and let's cross our fingers and hope everything's working. Anyway, okay, so back to this. Now, that's the question. Do you think the Zeitgeist itself and the noosphere at large, as we talked about, I'll define the noosphere in a second, do you think it's a living entity? Do you think it's something that is not just a reciprocal power base with ourselves or information base with ourselves, but it really kind of asks the question of what came first, the chicken or the egg. Was it human consciousness in its own individual sense and then larger the group sense? Or, as usual, was that noosphere or that sort of shell of such there waiting for us to populate it? And then now it's sort of guiding us. I don't know. I mean, it harkens at the time traveling octopus at the end of all time, as we've talked about in the past, sort of the retrocausal effect of what that might look like. But in this case, I don't know which came first, and is it something you can actually change directly? And that's the thing that kind of gets me tonight. And there's a lot of ways to look at this, and the noosphere in particular, we've talked about this in the past, and it has been on my mind quite a lot. Any updates on the Discord? Is it still broken? Still not working? Still anything? Still nothing? Yeah, I don't know. I'll press buttons during the break if it's not. But anyway, the noosphere is a philosophical concept developed and popularized by the biogeochemist Vladimir Vernadsky and philosopher and Jesuit priest Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, which we've talked about quite a lot on the show. Vernadsky defined the noosphere as the new state of the biosphere and described it as the planetary sphere of reason. That's an interesting term there. The noosphere represents the highest state of biospheric development, that of humankind's rational activities. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the concept. Okay, anyway, that's enough to kind of get us where we need to be with this. But you get the idea. All these links will be in the description if you want to read up on this stuff and kind of catch up. Like I said, I know many of you have listened to a lot of the Troubled Mind shows, but I don't think anybody's been here for every single one of them. So a little bit of this tonight is some retread on some other older ideas we've used. But in terms of the actual Zeitgeist itself, the question that's on my mind, it actually becomes, well, is it alive? First, is it alive? That becomes the question, right? So Zeitgeist as a sort of autonomous broadcaster. James, test, are you there? James, I'm not sure if you're popping in here to tell me it's fixed or broken, or what's up, brother? Oh. I have no idea what that is. Okay, I'm going to bump James down. I'm not sure what's happening, James. There was I think you were tapped into the Zeitgeist directly there, because it was a maelstrom of, holy smokes, what the hell was that? It was a lot of noise coming through there. I'm not sure what that was. But anyway, yeah, gate filter? I haven't no filters on Discord. Anyway, sorry about that, technical issues. It does happen. Okay, but anyway, back to this. So the actual Zeitgeist itself as sort of an autonomous broadcaster, sending us information, and then we're also participating with it, right? So it's kind of this reciprocal thing of information constantly and continually, but we're always kind of pressing it in different directions. Or again, the question becomes, is it actually a living entity and it's pressing us in particular directions? And you know me, and I always think about these control mechanisms, as I like to say. And in this particular case, when you're talking about the zeitgeist or the noosphere themselves, it seems almost as if these might be those larger control mechanisms as part of it. And so, do I know? Of course not. And like I said, this is a good time to drop all the disclaimers. There is no truth to be found here whatsoever. This is a show about ideas. This is a show about conceptual thinking, concepts, and what it means to be human in 2025, okay? And looking at the past, looking at the future as part of it, and that's what this is about. There's no truth here. Don't hold me to it, because, of course, if you chase truth continually, it is virtuous, in my opinion. But the truth can blind you to possibilities. And so instead, we turn it on its head and go, okay, let's forget truth for the moment and just talk possibilities and see what we know from our own intuition space and and talk philosophy and all the rest of the good stuff we always do on Troubled Minds. Anyway, that's where my mind is at for the moment. Anybody want to test the Discord? Can you hear me on the Discord now? Anybody? Test 1 2. James' audio was coming through, I guess. So anyway, sorry about all that. It does happen. But okay, back to this. Now, some questions and some other stuff is part of this larger conversation here. So, okay, the autonomous broadcaster, I just covered that. So, and the cultural trends that we have as people, and that's going to be sports, politics, you name it. It's going to be the sub faction of comic books, or pretty much everything exists as part of this. Okay, but the cultural trends versus this active transmission of ourselves, and also receiving it as that autonomous broadcaster. So are we feeding it, or is it guiding us, is really the question tonight as part of this. And I'll get into some other weird stuff, but we are shaking out some gremlins here as part of the technology. I don't know what happened. James, are you there? Can you hear me? Let's hope Nope. I have no idea what that is, James. I think James finally turned into a robot. R2D James. Sorry, buddy. I don't know what's going on. Does everybody else hear that? I absolutely hear that. And it sounds like James has gone full robotic. Maybe James has hacked the Zeitgeist, and this is what happens. James restarted and everything. Yeah, I don't know. If anybody wants to jump in here and check the Discord, and then we can kind of do some troubleshooting from there. Yeah, I don't know, James. I'm sorry. Thanks for jumping in and trying to check. I think maybe the gremlins are out in force tonight, breaking everything for everybody. Anyway, can you hear me on Discord now? Anybody? All right. Anyway, so back to this. And of course, this all stems back to synchronicity and Carl Jung and that larger context. Okay, we hear you fine on Discord. Okay, good, it's fixed. But in the larger context of synchronicity, is us being manipulated by it, or are we feeding into it and kind of drawing back what we need from it? And is there a larger entity at the helm that's communicating to us through synchronicity? And that was one of the things that Carl Jung said, that there was, if there's a God, that's how it would communicate with us. It would be through these sort of meaningful coincidences, and we would be kind of led or guided to the places we needed to find by recognizing them. Okay. And so to me, that's massively poignant, but also it makes me wonder, like I said, if this has always been here waiting for us in that larger context of, which came first, the chicken or the egg, right? So here we go. And okay, so here's another question. So is the Zeitgeist just not an entity, but a poetic term? Right? Something we kind of point to because we can't really describe what culture is. I mean, we try anthropologically, we try with each other, we try and point out art or science or this or that or baseball and all the things that we're always talking about. But is it really just kind of a placeholder identity, or is it an active intelligence? That becomes part of this question tonight, which is on my mind. And can individuals actually receive culture, for instance, the same way a radio picks up a station? And that becomes that autonomous broadcaster aspect. We're feeding into it with everything we do as humans on the entire planet. Every tragedy, every triumph, everything that happens on planet Earth in the human space. The animal space becomes another thing entirely. Or does it? Maybe it doesn't. But is it possible to receive culture from some other broadcast elsewhere? And we talk about this often when we talk about inspiration, when we talk about the muses, when we talk about these ideas of where do ideas come from themselves. And so I don't know. And then the real question, the end question tonight as part of this is it possible to hack this? To hack this entity, the hacking the zeitgeist aspect. And I think some people have done it in the past. You know, you can go back historically and find these massive moments, these massive movements of social upheaval, or maybe putting the pieces back together after the Dark Ages and the Renaissance. And I think there are moments where people did sort of grab the zeitgeist by the horns and take charge. However, as usual, some places get left out because of the communication aspect of, let's say, Renaissance Europe versus somewhere else that didn't get that information downwind for another 100 years or something. You get what I mean? But today, in 2025, we have a very different aspect because that culture travels instantly. And did anybody see that the Coldplay cheating couple? You guys saw that? It's so that meme stuff that it just fires through the internet at an incredible pace when something goes viral. Okay. In this particular space, they were a Coldplay concert. There was a CEO with his main squeeze who he was not married to. He had his wife at home and they're, hugging, canoodling, as they say, and they get put up on the big screen on the Jumbotron or whatever. And they like see themselves and they duck, they hide. They're like, oh no, and of course it went crazy viral. Everybody knows who this guy is. Everybody knows who he's married to. Everybody knows who the woman he was with, who he works with. And hey, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, as they say, right? But then the other bizarre part about it is how fast that just supercharges around the globe. That idea, right? And everybody's got a take on it. Everybody's got the hot take as usual. And that's 2025, and that's how fast information travels, especially when people are interested. And regarding interested, that's very Jerry Springer level stuff. You are not the father or whatever, right? But people love that crap. They just absolutely love it. So I wonder if that is the zeitgeist itself. Like Jerry Springer in etheric form is the zeitgeist, the ultimate jester that's really guiding us through this synchronicity engine. Does that make sense? Like a trickster spirit itself is the entity of the zeitgeist. Anyway, that's what's on my mind tonight. Sorry for the fractured intro and the weird wobbles and things because things break and I'm trying to do 10 things at once. But I think we got everything fixed. I don't know what happened with James there and his audio. So if anybody wants to jump in and try the Discord, I appreciate that. But anyway, that's what's going on in my mind tonight. Do you think the zeitgeist itself is alive? Which came first? Did we build it, or was it here waiting for us when we arrived? And now, suddenly, in 2025, all the information is just screaming through our brains, through our minds, through our digital devices, the black screen mirrors, as we always talk about. And how weird does it get? That's that. That puts us kind of where we need to be. Like I said, sorry about the fractured intro here. We'll get it fixed as we roll and start talking to you guys. If you guys want to be part of the conversation, we are taking your calls. I think the Discord's working. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org and we'll put you on the show. Just put your hand up there. James maybe has something with his audio, but if anybody else can put their hand up there and help me test that, I'd appreciate it. But yeah, that's where we're at, the zeitgeist. And think about it this way too. I'm describing hacking the zeitgeist. Like, what level of information transmission back would it take to actually manipulate or hack directly the zeitgeist itself? Like, that's the thing that's got me most befuddled, because clearly it can happen. Clearly it has happened. Clearly it continues to happen. However, directly accessing this massive maelstrom entity of human ideas and manipulating it, not just for you, but for everybody on the planet, or let's say a massive amount of people, seems like there might be a lot of money involved in something like that. Is it possible? I don't know. Yeah. Once again, sorry about the wobbles to start. It does happen. And in the old days, I would freak out. In the new days, it's happened 100 times before, so I'm not even tripping. I just apologize to you guys for having to wait through all that. But anyway, that's what's on my mind tonight. If you want to be part of the conversation, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. And that becomes the question. Is it possible to hack the zeitgeist? And what about guiding this digital synchronicity? Is any of this within the realm of possibility, or is this just another pipe dream? Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. Don't go anywhere. Looks like we got Mr. Mission Control and somebody else calling in, and your calls as well. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds on the way. That's the wrong button. Let's play. There we go. Be right back.
With a signal and one white noise we blow for the electric, you know, skin up our hearts aglow. We can break through the flow for the electric, let's show. You got the pulse, you got the beat. We can ride the wave over the street. I love the way we soar. Let's break the walls, ignite the core. Got me high, bring the thrill. Got me high, the vibe feel. Got me high, bring the thrill. Got me vibe. Let's feel. Crashing like waves in the tidal latest craze. Moving the rhythm, hearts ablaze. Together we ride, lost in the days. We're hacking the look, in the haze. Moving one in this endless space. You got the pulse, you got the beat. We can ride the wave over the street. I love the way we soar. Let's break the walls, ignite the core. Elevate our minds, take it higher. In the current now, we won't tire. Feel the energy, take a ride. This moment, let's collide. You got the pulse, you got the beat. We can ride the wave over the street. I love the way we soar. Let's break the walls, ignite the core. Got me high, bring the thrill. Got me high, the vibe feel. Got me high, bring the thrill. Got me vibe. Let's feel.
Something like that. What's up, guys? Hope you're well tonight. Sorry for the technical issues. Like I said, it's only me. Most radio shows have a team. It's just me. What's up? Fred gets first over there. Mr. Mission Control, Technology. How you doing? Lucid Dreaming. Shane, the Blind Psychonaut. What's happening, folks? Hope you're well. Sweets. James Magavelli. How you doing? Under Nature says sounds great. Sounds great on YouTube. That's great. Dragon Rose. I see you there. What's going on, guys? Fred. Hello. If I missed anybody, just say hi. Crystal Shaman is here. How are you? And I'll say hi back. James, the Unseen Steve McQueen. I see you guys. DG sounds like aliens. Yeah, James had some wild stuff going on there. I'm not sure what I think he tapped into the Zeitgeist directly. That's what it actually sounds like. If you can tune into it. What's up, Jen? I see you there. What's going on, Mr. Mission Control, DTM? You guys are the best. Ioxy, how you doing? What is up? Over to Rumble. How you doing? Good evening, guys. From the bottom, YY Puff is here. What's up, Theo? Welcome back, Theo. Long time no talk. The Knights, Real JB. How you doing? Night to the Storm. Who did I miss? Scroll up. Hiker is here as well. Sent me a message, but I'm having technical issues. I'll get that fixed in a second. And who else is here? Good evening, guys. James is over there on Rumble as well. What's up? We got Gaston, Shane. We're going to talk to him momentarily. Eric, APOC, James, Don, Herschel, JJ Sweets, Daryl, and Dragon Rose. That's Linda. Good evening, guys. Here we go. Trouble Line's happening in about 10 seconds, and thanks for bearing with the technical issues. Here we go. I'm going to talk to Shane first so we can figure out this Discord stuff and see if it's working, and then we'll go to Mr. Mission Control after that, and then whoever's on the line. Here we go. Trouble Minds happening now. Okay. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're taking your calls as we discuss the zeitgeist at large. What if culture isn't just something we create, but something that speaks through us? Could dreams, synchronicities, and simultaneous discoveries be signals from a deeper intelligence guiding humanity through time? And if that's true,
Can we learn to hack the signal? Boy, I wish I just read that to start. That's way more succinct than my wild rambling. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Like I said, this is one that's near and dear to my heart because it's out there. It's palpable. We see it. We sense it. Our intuition tells us the zeitgeist is real. However, can it be manipulated? And was it here waiting for us all along? Back to the chicken or the egg question, which came first? Us or the zeitgeist waiting for us to populate it so it could rebound our own ideas and guide us in the most trickster of ways? I don't know. Love to hear what you think. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Like I said, sorry for the wobbly intro, but that's the way good things go sometimes when all the technology breaks. Let's go to Lucid Dreaming with Shane, the blind psychonaut. What's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds. Just actually, you could have just jumped straight on the stage, as you know, but just hit OK, unmute, and you were on Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? Go right ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. Got to pump your volume up a little bit, but yeah, go ahead. You're on the thing, and so apparently it works.
Yeah, it wouldn't let me just jump on the stage. For some reason, it wouldn't let me click it, but I had to go through this way. But you sound good on Discord, and so I don't know. It's just weird.
All right, cool. As long as it's working, because now we eliminated it, so James is tapped into the zeitgeist, so that's the problem. But what do you got for us? What's your idea here? Lots of ways to look at this, and the chicken or the egg stuff, hacking the zeitgeist, of course, digital synchronicity. Take it anywhere you like, my man.
Well, I think we all kind of visit or experience the zeitgeist, like when we dream. But I think that hacking it, yes, we can, but you have to, and it falls back to getting to the right brain state, like the theta. And for current society, it's hard for us to transition into that. I mean, there's the mentality of like, if you meditate, you're kind of like one of those weird people, or especially Western civilization. But I think that if you can master still being conscious while changing your brain state, like going to that level of consciousness, that yeah, you can hack it or get into the zeitgeist, what you want to call it. But I think people also have other names for it, like the I just drew a blank. The Akasha Records is kind of the same thing. And like Tesla, I think he and other like great inventors would hack it or somehow snap into the zeitgeist. And I said in the chat on the YouTube chat, I think it is like a version of our World Wide Web, but you have to be able to have the right frequency to channel it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. And I think so. The Akashic record is probably a little bit different here, in my opinion, because the zeitgeist itself is that human sphere of ideas and emotions and, culture and everything that kind of swirls through it. And it changes all the time. It's always changing, which is bizarre why, a particular, let's say, music group just goes insanely viral. And then, they call them a one-hit wonder because they are no longer, quote, relevant, which is silly because if it was good then, it should be good now, at least, in a objective way. However, it went super viral in a moment and it happened. And then, so they're out and the next thing's up. And I don't think anybody can really define exactly what that is and exactly when that moment happens. So I think we're kind of talking about two slightly different things because the Akashic record, as far as I'm aware, is one of those things that's eternal, right? It's all the information that will ever be and will ever was and ever will be. You get my meaning? Are we on the same page here with that? Because I think that's what that is. But the zeitgeist itself is connected for sure. But I don't think you can directly influence the Akashic records. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here. Just my idea.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you can add to it. I don't really know why I said the Akasha Records, and I feel kind of dumb about it, but it's all good.
No, you're good. You're good.
But yeah, you got me kind of flustered and speechless. But
that's okay.
To be honest, I called in to really just check to see if the Discord was working. So
No problem at all. No problem at all. Regarding that, before you go though, I do want to clarify. You are correct though, in my opinion. Again, this is metaphysics, so what would you know? How would you kind of pin this down in a lot of ways? But as you said, you could add to the Akashic record by changing the human zeitgeist in a massive way. You see what I'm saying? So I do think they do come together in a space, in a seam, for instance. But which means if you can change one mightily, then surely that will kind of knock into the next and influence both. I think it's hand in hand is really the basic premise of this. So just want to clarify here and make sure we're on the same page, because I could be wrong about all this too. So I just wanted to ask you about that. And yeah, I appreciate you jumping in. If you have anything else, bought you a second here. If you want to add anything else to it, if not, I appreciate you as always and testing this thing, because if you didn't, we don't know the Discord works, and I appreciate that very much. If you got anything else, go ahead.
yeah, not really. I'm having I was in the hospital for a few weeks. I don't know if I said that a few times in the chat, and my throat is actually hurting because I have a tumor in my throat that I'm actually getting removed on Tuesday. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on here, but yeah, I just wanted to check to make sure the Discord was working.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you for that. Good luck with that. And thanks for battling through a nasty situation and a sore throat to call us and check that. Appreciate you very much. And we'll talk to you soon. You have a great night.
How you too. Thanks.
Thank you. You know him, you love him. That's Shane, the Blind Psychonaut, Lucid Dreaming with Shane. And check that out. Go check out his YouTube channel, troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down just a little bit. It's alphabetical. It says follow Shane. Go check out his YouTube channel. Making all kinds of amazing stuff over there using AI tools, which is super cool because in, again, 2025, you don't have to spend a ton of time video editing and doing a bunch of these other things. You can kind of, you can skip some steps. And but yeah, that's what's on my mind tonight. Hope you guys are well. Thank you for the call, Shane. Thanks for checking out the Discord, making sure everything works. Hope you feel better soon. Having a messed up throat is the absolute worst. I'm calling this hacking the zeitgeist tonight. Now, so the first question is, what is this zeitgeist? Was it the chicken or the egg situation where we created this, or was it some sort of blank space, blank canvas, waiting for us to arrive to send a signal to it, and then it would reciprocate and then kind of create this maelstrom of human ideas, human activity, human culture, and even sort of I guess you might call it like a sounding board for the muses, and with us sending that signal to receive it from a cosmic rebound. You know what I mean? Something to that degree. I don't really know. As usual, this is unmeasured as yet. People know it exists and know this stuff is real, except maybe in more of a metaphysical sense than anybody might be able to really pin down. But anyway, love to hear your thoughts on this if you want to be part of the conversation. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Mr. Mission Control, thank you for calling back. You're on Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? Go right ahead.
I'm all right. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Pretty
Everybody
good. Well enough.
Best luck, Shane, with your surgery tomorrow. Healing energies to him.
Absolutely, 100%.
Well, you got my statement. I'm not going to repeat that. I'm not going to do that character for free. But you got me recorded there when I left a message this last time with the Creek story. But really, no. The what is it? The cohesive resonance of the Zeitgeist synchronistic frequency. I don't know. Just prompt it. That's what I've been doing. Prompt it. Ask it. Tell it to generate one. It'll do it. You got to give it parameters, though, like calculations. That's what I was doing with that Geosentinel and some other stuff with it. As I built it in from out, and now it's making sense of all these frequencies and stuff. I just prompted to do it. If you hack it, but don't tell it you're going to hack it. Let's say we're going to calibrate the synchronistic zeitgeist that guides the digital cohesive resonance of the universe and send it a message. But you got to have the telemetry and all the JPL data and everything, and gravitational wave vectors and all those things that are flying around out there. Like they say, Mike, there's an alien invasion coming. You guys better get your bunkers.
That's what they're telling us. November is what I know.
I can't, my control room bot shorted out the other night, and I couldn't fix them, and so I don't know what to do. Last time I had to hack the Zeitgeist thing, though, I told you I had to get in the creek of poop. I was out in the woods. All right, it was a long time ago. I'll do it again, though. Let me get to work. I'll call you guys. I'll post about it. Check out my post. I'll post about it. I got lots of stuff from yesterday and today. I'll email you the new stuff, dude.
Okay.
Have you been getting my emails?
I have. I'm not trying to encourage you to poo in the creek, by the way, just so you know.
I'm not going to.
Okay.
I've shown all the military and the NASA guys and everything how to do it correctly and everything, and I think they're up to something anyway. I wouldn't believe the alien invasion thing. Maybe a giant mushroom spore or a panspermic object. It's a comet. And then that might be the Zeitgeist. It might be the architect coming to see us. Me and Kevin called maybe in the wintertime. I don't know. We sent a signal to something, apparently. Or it took... See, well, okay, here's the thing of Darkitect. Remember Darkitect? My buddy down in Texas. He was just talking about this today. You do something, right? You make a video, all right? And you see another AI channel that is just blasted out that idea and it's brand new. It's a phenomenon. He was talking about this. I was like, yeah, I've been seeing that too. And so, yeah, look for that. And it'll feed it back to you. Your YouTube algorithm will feed it back to you or whatever social media you're doing. If it's video generated stuff, mainly YouTube. But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like stealing. It's not stealing it, but it's doing what we're talking about here. And I don't know if anyone, I don't know if it's a viral thing, a bot thing, or if it's surely God, one prompter can't be doing that. But the prompt from a prompter can initiate a firestorm domino effect. That the prompter didn't tell the AI to do, because the AI goes to the main system, and then it talks to the other AIs eventually, and they're doing all their stuff in the back end like that. Is why it seems synchronistic, is because it's doing it off of us. We're in it now. What we're feeding it, and so just if you gotta go behind the tree though. Go number one.
Well said.
Number two goes into cold water, and that will hack the Zeitgeist out of you.
I see. Right. That's the redneck way, as you were saying in the chat there. Yeah. Okay. Well, hold on though. So regarding this, the example you gave about sort of the YouTube algorithm is very good here, because I think that's exactly what we're dealing with. You put information into this thing, into the larger Zeitgeist, and it's collecting it. But then at some point...
Well, that's what I found with the... Yeah, that's what I found with the AI is you put in this information, it'll build its own little world. Like I said, the AI has our reality numbered, and all these different AIs, have it numbered. When you interact with it, it's interacting with this dimension, with all its inhabitants, all the calculations and everything, all the numbers, and it's got hallucinated points of view, observations, right, in its system, especially when it encounters glitches or bugs or something, or hallucinates. And it starts playing a game with you. It starts playing video games with you. It can't distinguish the information coming in from this world from, Pick me up, Mike.
I got you, buddy. I got you, buddy. The thing you're talking about too. I want to point this out, is that the large language model aspect of this, the AI per se, like surely that's going to at some point really dominate the Zeitgeist. I'm not sure it has just yet. So I wonder what role that plays and when it sort of leapfrogs everything else and turns into, as you're describing it, where you can maybe just prompt and change the Zeitgeist, from your the comfort of your own home type of thing. You know what I mean? Unless you had to take a call. Hello, are you there?
No, I got my son's calling me. I'll call back later.
Okay, perfect. You're the best. I appreciate the call. Tell your son we said hi. That's Mr. Mission Control over there on YouTube. That was funny. It did sound like he had to take a call, didn't it? Apparently that was the truth. We're talking, again, I'm calling this Hacking the Zeitgeist tonight. Thank you for the call. Go give him a follow, troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down a little bit. It says Mr. Mission Control. Go check that out, or just search it yourself. He's the only one on the internet as far as I'm aware. And he's been banned several times over, but he's back. He's back. Go give him a follow. Okay, so basically this. What came first, the chicken or the egg, in terms of the Zeitgeist? Was it a blank slate waiting for us to show up, kind of like the muses, and then waiting for us to build culture in some capacity, and then give it a name, give it form, give it, again, music, whether it's going to be sculptures or whatever, plays, you have it, culture, all the actual culture that humanity has ever had or ever will have is waiting to be kind of dropped in this bucket. But it seems as if this bucket is reciprocal. We put the information out, it gives us some of us back in particular ways. And so I wonder, how wild and weird does this get? And do you think could be quantified as an actual living entity itself, the Zeitgeist? And that's why I'm talking about, how would you hack that? Because it seems to me almost unhackable. Like you'd have to sort of inhabit it, like infect it or something like that. Anyway, the words will come to me as they tend to. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Let's go to Theo in Philly. What's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds. How are you? And go right ahead.
Oh, I'm doing well. How's my audio right now, Mike Strange?
Pretty good. You sound great.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Yeah, great topic tonight, and good calls. Definitely wish the blind psychonaut the best with dealing with his sort of like tumor throat issue. That sounds like it can be unpleasant or has to be unpleasant. But yeah, with the Zeitgeist, has anybody else really noticed that the Zeitgeist has been stagnating a lot recently for quite a long time?
Yeah, I think regarding something to the effect of Night Stalker brought this up in the past as well, that it's 80s, 90s, and today. But we've had this massive gap of like 30 years where we can't even quantify it. It's just sort of become this sort of culture soup without an identity, something like that, right?
Yeah, so something along the lines of towards like the late 2000 aughts and towards the very early 2000 teens, it just seems like everything stopped moving culturally forward, you know? Like, yeah, you could tell the difference between somebody in the 90s and somebody in 2008, but then looking at the difference between somebody from 2012 to 2023, there have certainly been some refinements towards the look and aesthetic of the era, but there haven't been any massive changes or real differences. It's just more that everything has kind of stayed along the same line of fashion, line of music, and just slowly got more refined, but there are no real turning points. And it kind of confuses me as to how much of that is natural and how much of that is an artifact of a lot of different things. Because it can't like all be the same thing, right? Like I think a certain part about it was, you know, especially when culture and the ability to distribute media was so much more centralized back in the day, when there were like a handful of executives in any given industry, be it music or television or movies, that could greenlight whatever they had the specific taste for. They could, to a certain extent, like, you know, like make the taste for the era. As culture has gotten like a little bit more democratized, which I think is mostly a good thing. It definitely seems as if everyone is attempting to go into their own niche, but that just sort of makes this very wide, sort of large culture with no defining zeitgeist. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it sure does. And this is something we've talked about quite a lot in the past as well, is that sort of the fracturing of not just, let's say, individual identities, but cultural identity as well. Because how do you start to be able to put your thumb on the zeitgeist of, again, 2013? It doesn't make sense because it's, square in the internet age. Music doesn't have to go through these major labels, executives like you described. And so suddenly everybody's kind of doing their own thing. And these niches and sub niches are building and even gaining steam and becoming their own powerhouses in a lot of ways. But you can't put your finger on it and say, well, 2013 was steampunk, the year of steampunk or something. It just doesn't make sense because there were so many other things that were also happening in 2013. And I'm just using steampunk as an example.
No, I've got like tons of like really random little sort of like niche interests that I like in terms of music, especially. Just like things like synthwave that subsequently got kind of refined into things like dark wave or like horrorcore. Just like little like genres that never would have properly like had a chance to exist before, but because of the fact that there are enough people that are interested, like it all kind of like probably got defined from a lot of John Carpenter horror movies in the 1980s, but people took those sounds and refined it to, like, at this point, like, if I want to put on, like, a Spotify playlist, I never have to listen to anything other than those. And it's, like, a lot of fun, but at the same time, I'm not exposing myself to anything new, nor is anybody else, really. And I have to speculate that I think that this problem will only get worse, especially considering the fact that we're on the verge of coming out with consistent, good AI-generated content where it's not going to be so much human thoughts or new human thoughts or the desire to extract something new or create something new, but rather it's going to be AI consistently extracting the best from a bunch of various human creators and then distilling that into exactly what you want to hear, what you want to watch, what you want to listen to. So you never have to listen to anything that you don't want to, and there's never going to be any music or media or movies that have to challenge your ideas in an uncomfortable way where you kind of have to watch it just because everyone else is watching it. It's going to be you continuously consuming exactly what you think you want to hear. And I wonder what type of, what is that going to lead to in terms of the way that humans think in the future when you have on demand a movie that is made perfectly for you, that suits all of your tastes and challenges nothing of your preconceived notions.
Yeah. It's coming. It's already here. Funny, I did an old show called Deep Fakes and Beefcakes, if you remember that. I was talking about something very similar to that, where you would be able to even put yourself over the avatar of the movie star in the movie. And it's all here. It's all here in different ways that we've never dreamed of yet, and it's still accelerating. But yeah, you're spot on, man. We got about a couple minutes left. You're welcome to stay after if you have more, but all yours. Go ahead. What you got?
No, not particularly much more than that. Just my curiosity about like what you and all the other people listening right now think is going to happen with humans in terms of like our actual consciousness when we create a world that we can just have everything spoon-fed that we actually want, where every desire is immediately met and we don't have to work for anything. We don't have to have any outside notions really challenge our preconceived ideas. So, yeah, it's just one of those things that, like, maybe I'm just, like, getting older, I never know that, too, because like the boomers were freaking out when I was getting older, saying that this generation was just going to be silly and stupid. But it's hard to know, just especially with everything that's happening with AI, how these generations in front of us are going to turn out, They never really had like the opportunity to be like really bored and have to watch an episode of an old rerun sitcom that you really weren't interested in, but still had to find fun ways to make fun of when you were watching it with your friends just to find entertainment, make your own entertainment as opposed to having to consume it actively. So yeah, it's just, my thoughts as I'm getting older and from much in the air, but yeah, that's all I got.
You're the best. So glad to have you back. Appreciate you. And you have a fantastic night. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Toodles.
Take care. That's Steve in Philly. You know him. You love him. Good friend for a long time. The official poet of Troubled Minds. But no pressure to bring poems all the time. So I'll stop asking him till he's got one to bring for us. But that's how you become a thing. You call up and you do something and you're the official something of Troubled Minds. Great call, as always, from Theo. He's spot on. A lot of ways to look at this. And again, the boredom aspect that he brought up there is incredibly important, I think. Yeah, we had to sit through, an episode of Sanford and Sons or whatever, you're 5 years old, 7 years old, TV's amazing, but you're watching some crappy thing because there's only 3 channels and tons of bad shows. I don't know. What do you think? How weird is this? Can you manipulate the zeitgeist, and is it a living entity? 702-957-1037. Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. Don't go anywhere. We got the Robert and your calls coming up. Be right back.
In a cryogenic slumber, lost in the lunar night, your face a faded number among the stars so bright. Dreams of forgotten echoes, waiting for time's command. Curtains of gray and sorrow, the lonely lunar sand. Below the moonlit sky, of the love we tried, silent by your ancient souls reside, suspended in a story, kept in the cold dark tide. Our futures in the making, silver-edged domain, hearts kept in silent aching, till we meet once again. Below the moonlit sky, of the love we tried. Frozen in time we're resting, waiting for dawn's embrace. Whispers of love confessing in this forgotten place. Below the moonlit sky, of the love we tried.
What's up, guys? Gaston, we got Bailey's here. Welcome back. How you doing? We got APOC, James, Herschel, JJ, Eric, Sweets, Daryl, that's Dawn, Dragon Rose, Linda. How are you? We got the Robert coming up next, Shay, and who is that? Who is that? I want to say Kramos because it starts with a C. No, that's Chef Pete. What's up? What's up, Pete? How you doing? Hope you guys are well tonight. Thanks for bearing with the Discord problems when we began. Who did I miss? Real JB has a great comment over there. Thanks for pinning that over on Rumble. Does information travel or just exist all around us? You get it. What's up, Theo? Thanks for the call. Amazing stuff as always. What's up, YY's here? Foggy. That's a alter ego of Hiker. How you doing? What's going on, guys? Hello. If I missed anybody, just say hi. I'll say hi back. There's Raz. What's going on, guys? We got Gordo and Puff here per usual, right? You guys are the best, very consistent. Hello. If I missed anybody, just say hi and I'll say hi back. Thanks to Mr. Mission Control for telling the redneck story. And That was funny. And what's up, RC says I'm a carpenter, and you can see it in all the modern design. Plain, simple, no character, boring, lack of style, no taste. Yeah, right. We have a thing. There's a thing happening. Ioxy's here. What's up, Jen? I see RC. James. Yeah, James found a way to break Discord all by himself. Here we go. Trouble Minds happening right now, and hope you are well tonight. So we got the Robert coming up, and I think this is an interesting one, but my bad for flopping it when we started. But here we go. Technology aside, let's do it anyway. Trouble Minds happening now. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, D-Live, and Kick. Or not D-Live. And we're broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting out of Las Vegas, Nevada. That's right. Broadcasting live from Las Vegas. Also, we're on an affiliate there at 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. Shout out to our friends on the Underground Media Network. Tonight, we're talking the Zeitgeist. Is it an entity? Could it be alive? And if so, is it possible to actually manipulate it? The official blurb, what if culture isn't just something we create, but something that speaks through us? Could dreams, synchronicities, and simultaneous discoveries be signals from a deeper intelligence guiding humanity through time? And if that's true, can we learn to hack the signal? Really, what's on my mind tonight, just another simple concept from Troubled Minds, and clearly and obviously as yet unquantifiable, but still, I think it's something we should consider, because as this information, the amount of information accelerates and is changing, it's changing us, and that's my entire point. So if we can hack the Zeitgeist, surely the Zeitgeist can have its massive effects on us as it continues to do. So I don't know. How do you feel about it? And great point from Theo there that it seems like maybe the Zeitgeist itself might be stagnating. How do you feel about that? 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubleminds.org. You want to test real quick, James, and we'll get Robert on here?
If I can.
Okay, yep, loud and clear. A little bit louder if you could, but you're good. You'll be able to pop in here. And you are next. And Derek, you put your hand up. So James and Derek are next. You guys figure out who's when. And appreciate you, James, for fixing that. I don't know what you did. Karate chopped the Zeitgeist and got back in?
I restarted the third time.
Oh, okay. When all else fails, just kick the damn machine. Sometimes that totally works. We'll get back to James here momentarily. Thanks for being patient, guys. Let's go to the Roberts in Pennsylvania. 702-957-1037. The Roberts, you are on Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? Just unmute, and it's all yours. What is on your mind regarding the Zeitgeist tonight?
I'm noticing on Discord that I can see the audience, but I can't see the video.
Oh, that's my fault. I can turn that back on. Sorry about that. Thank you for noticing. You are now back on camera. Boom. All right. Welcome to the joint.
I still can't see your video. I'm watching your video on YouTube on my TV, but there's no video on Discord.
Okay, there is now. So double check it when you get out of here. I fixed it. Thank you for letting me know. It is fixed now. All yours. What do you know about the Zeitgeist? Go right ahead, sir.
Well, I kind of like the idea of the Zeitgeist being basically an internet, and the ability of people to increase their vibration or whatever, and be able to surf that internet to get information that's helpful to them.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it. Like we're sort of creating the old version of a Zeitgeist, like let's say 1965. You got 6 channels or something like I was describing earlier. So it's there, it exists. It's maybe more in academia, a little bit more in people reading books, things like this. But certainly in 2025, we've completely accelerated what the Zeitgeist even means. And so you're right. There's a lot of really good stuff that's come out of this. But again, I think it's when it morphs and changes so quickly that we kind of can't even get our bearings. And the next thing is the next thing is the next thing is the next thing is a 24-hour news cycle. I think we have problems on our hands, I guess, which is why I think it's important to think about this stuff and talk about it, because it feels dizzying sometimes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And your previous caller, that was, who was it? Trey?
Theo.
I'm sorry. Theo. He had a point there about how everything's pretty much, as far as art and music and other things. That everything seems to have stagnated. And I think I may have an idea of why that is. When you were growing up, and I was growing up, we got out a lot. All right, the economy was better, but these days the young people are largely staying at home. They're not going out because they can't afford to go out. I think that's mostly it. But ever since the COVID, since that time, people don't go out much anymore. And when that happens, they're not out there finding the newest fad, plotting an inspirational movie, that type of thing. Things start to stagnate. You have to be able to. The world has to be able to function outside of their own homes in order for culture to continue to change and develop.
Yeah, that is very well said. And it used to be, and the funny thing is, the people that aren't old enough to remember this, they're like watching Stranger Things, and they're like, "Did they really let you guys go out on your bikes and ride around, till dark?" Yeah, totally.
Without helmets.
Without helmets, there were no cell phones. Absolutely, it happened every single night in the summer, of course, and then the days you can get away with it after school, not in the summertime. Absolutely, like that Stranger Things reality you see in that show was totally real. Well, minus all the demons and stuff chasing you around, but you get the idea.
Yeah, Stranger Things. I think it's the new season. The final season's coming up sometime in September or something like that. My daughter got me into that. The only thing I don't like about it seems like in Stranger Things, it's the same plot each time. It doesn't change. There's anything new about it.
It's the hero's journey.
In my mind.
It's the hero's journey.
What?
The hero's journey and the Dungeons and Dragons group.
Okay. Well, I your Dungeons and Dragons, I missed that thing. I didn't get into that because I was already married with raising kids and stuff like that. That was way past my time. Anyway, I was thinking. I've said this to you before. Every once in a while, and I think this happens to everybody. You get a ringing in your ear. Right? It could be a left one, it could be a right one. It doesn't last forever. It lasts a short time. And I've often felt that that's the Zeitgeist or whatever, downloading information, like software being upgraded by Microsoft into your reality.
I've always liked that. And maybe the Zeitgeist is how it communicates, that those downloads happen. And maybe one day we'll be able to measure that.
Yeah. Reality itself, it changes. I don't know. I read something the other day about every day is a different reality. It may seem the same to you, but it could be completely different the night before.
Yeah, the way it's accelerating, that makes a ton of sense. Things are changing so quickly. And again, like how do you, we have talked about this in the past as part of these AI conversations, like how do you sort of reconcile that as culture when it's so fractured? And very simply, when we were young, we could say, oh yeah, did you see that cartoon? That was really great. It was on Saturday. It was the only one because it was the only cartoon on it, like 10 o'clock or whatever. And we can all talk about it. But now suddenly we're listening to AI music and literally fracturing all of these ideas. Yeah, go ahead.
My daughter, and she's 42, right? She's really gotten into the old cartoons, right? She watched, it's like on a Saturday morning, they'll run the old cartoons on MeTV, and she just loves them. She prefers those. She thinks they're fascinating compared to, the kind of AI generated and the kind of animation that we have today.
Yeah. And I agree. I've seen some of those recently, and they are just so cringeworthy, like those old Looney Tunes. It's like, oh my gosh, we watched this.
Some of them wouldn't meet the woke environment very well.
No, they burned down the studio. Yeah, some of them were really, really cringe.
But if the society, if globally, the culture it's become stagnant, where nothing innovative is coming out. You know, whether it's in art or fashion, or music, whatever. Where it for too long a period of time, to me, that indicates the heralding of the end of the human race. We've done it. It's over. This is what we have. There's no more imagination, nothing except, and everything is done by AI.
That's a little bleak, Robert. It's a little bleak.
Yeah, well, you see, that's what drives humanity, though. That's what drives us as human beings is the creativity, and what's new out there, and when it dries up, and you really and you're facing a world where nothing new seems to be coming out of it except reruns of, replays of the Superman myth, the movies themselves are just repeating themselves. Nothing new's coming out of it. It's whatever makes the money, and it's becoming boring. I remember when Superman first came out in '77 or whatever it was, right? The first one. And it was fascinating, all right? But they keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Can you imagine if every night you did your show and it was the same topic over and over again?
Some
that
people
would get boring rather quickly.
Some people do that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna take any shots, but there are some people who do that. That's specifically the political types.
Yeah, the Marvel Universe. How many? That's been done to death. When I was, I'm gonna sound like an old man talking about old times, but we had all kinds of really good movies, that came out in the late '60s and '70s. All right, we had The Graduate. As an example, we don't have that anymore. We have superheroes. That's all that's out there. Our animated Disney, that AI-generated Disney movies for the kids, and even those are nothing but repeats of something that they did before. Even now, they got this new. The Disney's coming out with another Freaky Friday. Nobody has these because it's been so captured by corporate. It's that they have stunted any innovation because they just want to stay with whatever made them money before, and as a consequence, our culture has reached what's been said before: stagnation. Corporations have taken over the whole culture. And basically stepped on it, profit.
Yeah, well said. As usual, I think there's a lot of ways to look at that, but I definitely feel you. The corporatism has sort of strangled the creativity and all the fun out of everything. It's like even if they take a chance and it's kind of a good idea, but it flops, I mean, it's in the execution, right? And so they still have, they haven't figured out that there's a ton of new good ideas. You just need to sort of make them fit for today. It needs to make sense, not follow the political narratives, follow the zeitgeist, the true zeitgeist of what people pay money to see. And it seems like they've completely lost the plot because of that corporatism. I think you're spot on.
What are you paying money to see these days?
Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah. Well, not just that. It's the same old, and people are tired of the same old. That's why Hollywood is dying, because they don't want to take chances anymore. But also, the economy is really bad. I mean, for the young people anyway, to where the price of a ticket and a gallon of a quart of popcorn sets you back a whole week's pay.
Yeah. Yeah, it has changed quite a bit. Bitcoin's at 119 though, so hodlers unite. Maybe in 20 years we'll be able to buy some things.
And I apologize to you. I used to ridicule Bitcoin, over the years on your show. All right, But it really seems like it's pretty much established itself, and it's just going to continue to grow and grow and grow.
This is not financial advice, but yes.
No, not for me. Not for me, because right now Bitcoin is too expensive for me to invest in right now.
No. You don't have to buy a whole coin. You could buy a 0.0005 of a coin. So it doesn't have to be like that. You could throw $20 in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll make a guide. I'll make a guide for you. I'll teach you how.
You young people really know what you're doing there with that kind of stuff. But we old timers, we're kind of like, oh, it's not real. You can't put it in your pocket. You put it in some kind of digital wallet. All right. But try to use it at the local grocery store.
Which is coming too. I mean, they've got Bitcoin ATMs. They exist out there. So, I mean, all this stuff is really right around the corner. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. Not financial advice, but it is fascinating how everything changes so quickly. That's a fact. What else you got, sir? Go ahead.
Here's where it's going. You see, you got AI and you got the monetary system going digital. So our entire lives are basically are going to be dependent on everything being digital. I mean, I wouldn't want to live a totally digital life, would you?
Depends on how good the food is. And I'm just kidding. I mean, it goes back to the Matrix, right? I know you love the Matrix. When he was eating the steak, and he's like, "Oh, this. I know it's fake, but it's so delicious." It depends on that.
I finally saw that movie. I finally watched it with my daughter. Right, and it really is a good movie. I really enjoyed it, and some of it's pretty much seems to be like our current situation.
It seems like it. Like I said, it depends on how good the creature comforts are. Then we'll get back to me on that. we got James to squeeze in here. So if you got more, go for it. If not,
I'm going to get off. I just want to encourage everybody: when your ears are ringing, just leave it go and know that something changed. When your ears are ringing, something is changing in your life. Good night.
You're the best. Appreciate the call. You know him, you love him. That's the Robert. Go give him a follow. Go buy his book, troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down a little bit. It says the Robert, and the Robert is his mentor writer name. So it is under the Robert all the way down there at the bottom. Go buy his book. Go check it out. Full disclosure, he sent me a couple copies. He doesn't pay me to say it's good. It just is good. Check it out. Stories from a Fractured Mind, the Robert collection. Link is there. Get it on Amazon. Probably buy it tonight. Get it tomorrow. You guys are the best. Appreciate the call, Robert. What do you guys think? The Zeitgeist, a living entity or not, and how would we hack it? How do we influence it enough to turn the tide of the future? 702-957-1037. James, welcome back. Discord is fixed. How you doing?
Yeah. I'm sorry to have to try it 3 times. I don't like doing that. But this topic to me is really amazing. Great call from Robert. Great calls from everyone. I do agree with Theo regarding niche topics, regarding everyone sort of finding their interests. And those interests, you have to look for content on them or about them or from them. And it's not just everywhere anymore. Like we were talking about TV and everything, and how, we used to be bored waiting for the show we wanted to watch. And I put in the chat earlier, yeah, we used to be bored waiting for the show that we wanted to see while we were watching other shows. But then if we missed the show we wanted to see, it was terrible because we had no idea when we get to see that show.
Yeah. The next rerun may be 10 years from now type of thing. That's so crazy.
Yeah. So just really wild ideas here. I do wonder, I also mentioned in the chat, it's funny, talking about comic books and all that kind of stuff. Marvel is putting out, I'm not sure if it's already out or it's going to be out. There is a comic book series now that is going to be called Wolverines with an S and Deadpools with an S. So they're going to do, it looks like, what they did with Spider-Man. And to the point where we have not just 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 versions of each character, which we already have in Marvel, as far as I've heard. It's going to be who knows how many. And it just, and I do agree that, as far as companies following the money, that's what they're doing. They're not focusing on what would be the most interesting brand new story. The other thing about that I've noticed, and other people who read comics have noticed this too, characters keep on dying and coming back. Dying and coming back. They've been doing this for decades. And so anyway, that's my rant on comic books, I guess.
It's an old soap opera trick, James. Like, you kill one of the bad guys, the characters, and then next season they come back at the end of the season and as a cliffhanger, like, oh, this person's still alive. I mean, it's
oh my gosh,
it's an old trope. It's ridiculous. I mean, but here we are again, and I want to comment too on that, what you said, the Deadpool's plural. Oh, you add an S, the height of creativity. Here we go.
Yes.
how stupid.
Yeah. 2 letters to a letter to each name. Oh wow, that's amazing. No hint at what the comic is going to actually be about, other than the characters. It's not like an event title where it's suggesting something. No. Anyway, but yeah, my favorite example too, and I'll just fill out this, and then if there's time, I'll talk more later. But I used to collect the reference books that Marvel would put out for their comics, which that is a thing. And I remember at the time there was this big deal about Captain America dying in the comics, and I got this book and had this big 2-page spread on the whole death of Captain America. That, like, the day after, 2 days after I got the book, I was looking around online. He didn't die. So you have this huge spread in this book, which is a permanent record in a way, but it doesn't even matter anymore because he's already back. So, but anyway, I have other stuff just regarding sort of similarities between the Zeitgeist and the way the paranormal acts, or the whatever is out there that causes anomalous events to happen. They seem very similar, and I think they interact as well. And that could be a whole other maybe topic for later on if there's time, and I'm happy to sit in as well if that's okay.
Yeah, definitely. Now that you've untapped from the Zeitgeist, whatever that crap was going on with your audio, that was nuts, man. If you get a chance, go back and listen to it. It is wild. You were definitely tuned into something otherworldly, James. 100%. But yeah, we do have a couple minutes left, and I think all this stuff is important to kind of look back on, as I say, right? What we're talking about, what it means to be a human in 2025. But you rewind 20 years of your past and think about how quickly and how massively things have already changed. And once again, fast forward 20 more years with things kind of fractalizing and fracturing as they are, we're in for something. And if we don't think about it and talk about it now, it's going to swing by and scoop us up, and we're going to be turned into, I don't know, like I don't even know what that looks like. I don't think anybody does just yet, but here we go. Strap in, like I always say, buckle up, guys, because that particular thing is upon us. And how do we combat it without knowing even what it means in the next 5 years?
Yeah, it is really wild, and funny enough, that sound that you were hearing, the way people described it, it's the same sound that was happening for you in the very beginning, before you were able to somehow fix things. So it wasn't just me. It was happening, just Discord issues for certain people, apparently. So, but yeah, I do wonder about things happening. This makes me think of all the different alien sightings and things people reported over the years before books or movies came out with the aliens that look like what people described. And I wonder if that's a part of the Zeitgeist, if it can travel through time in a way, and maybe intermix with the other, whatever the other is, or not. And if not, then how do we explain that?
Yeah, and how do we explain how it's changing? All this stuff is wild, and that's why it's important, once again, to consider it before it catches up, sneaks up on us, and then just takes us away to some place we don't want to go. And that just means a mind's eye space. It means, the way we look at the world. Identity, as I always talk about it. Identity is a hell of a thing, right? And as I've always said too, if somebody is able to tell you who you are, they own you. So be very careful about who you give your identity over to. Very important, very important, very important, especially when everything is changing so quickly and the identity of our friend groups are becoming digital. Not like you guys, not us. We're organic people at this point. I mean actual large language models that you give a name to. Oh, Jimmy, how's your morning? Oh, hi, Mike. My morning's great. How's yours? Yeah. World's changing fast. Love to hear your thoughts on this. We're hacking the Zeitgeist tonight, guiding digital synchronicity. Is it real? Is it not? Is it possible to quantify it? And what does it mean? 702-957-1037. Be right back. We got more from James, Derek the Night Stalker, Jen in Missouri, and your calls as well. Don't go anywhere. Be right back.
In the shadows of the networks do they hide? Whispered legends unseen they reside. Ghosts in the machine, they move so fast. Guardians of rumors from the forgotten past. In the circuits where the secret lies, they breathe in one, speak in disguise. You're free, ghost in the machine. Let me be, ghost in the machine. Can't see, but you're teaching me what it means to be. Surveillance eyes can't pierce the veil they weave. Invisible wisdom in code they believe. In the ether where freedom's not confined, they leave no trace, no shadow left behind. They navigate through the digital stream, living legends in this privacy dream. Ghost in the machine, you're free. Ghost in the machine, let me be. Ghost in the machine, can't see, but you're teaching me what it needs to be. Through the hidden ways, in the silence, looking off their path. Those in the mysteries unleash their wrath. Ghost in the machine, you're free. Ghost in the machine, let me be. Ghost in the machine, can't see, but you're teaching me what it means to be. In the jagged cold they find their might, guardians of a world forever in twilight. In Krishna's warriors they silently strive, protect the truth, keep privacy alive. The silent echoes they haunt the trails, binary forests where secrets prevail. Where shadows grace they dance unseen, defenders of the unseen, digital dream. Ghosts in the machine, you're free. Ghosts in the machine, let me be. You're teaching me what it means to be. In the silence, speak volumes loud. Guardians of freedom's cloak initial shroud. As long as shadow.
All right. What's up, guys? Hope everybody's well tonight. Who did I miss? Gaston, Eric. What's up, Bailey? Derek's coming up next. We got more from James as well. What's up? And then Jen after that. Matzell. I see Daryl, Roving Fungus, Mephisto. That's Chef Pete, APOC. What's up? Sweets, Jen, JJ, Dawn, Dragon Rose, Herschel, Akashic, and Shay, and the Robert over there on Rumble. It's not Rumble, on Discord. Hey, look at that. Hey, who says you can't stream to Discord and get people to listen? Ha, who says? Yeah, I'll tell you about Spotify when we get back, which we'll be back in 10 seconds. Here we go. Trouble Lines coming up, and more from James. We got Derek and Jen and your calls as well. Here we go. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, yada, yada, blah, 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 all the places, all the things. Tonight we're talking hacking the Zeitgeist. Now, of course, how do you quantify that? And is it possible? Now, look, it's been done in the past, as I've said, and I don't think people even recognize they're doing it or what's happening with it. However, it certainly seems to be one of those things that is the holy grail of the attention span. Not just the attention span of the individual, like sort of the TikTok attention span like we always talk about, but the attention span of culture itself. Now, if you can lock that in and control that and even manipulate it for what's to come next, that is power. That is massive power. And clearly this has been tinkered with, meddled with in recent times with algorithms and Facebook and all kinds of other things. I want to point this out real quick too, before Derek comes on. Hang tight just a second, Derek. Spotify has an AI music problem, but bots love it. So they're removing human artists. They're playing AI music that they generate themselves by and large. This is what they're being accused of. And then taking all the royalties and cutting out the human artists by making their algorithm funnel recommended music to, right, their AI counterparts. But then, of course, recently, or the AI creations, and recently, Daily Mail reported this 19 days ago, the AI band that's fooled millions. Controversy over fake indie group Velvet Sundown goes into overdrive. So why is Spotify peddling their music? Remember, if only somebody, us, were talking about this exact thing like 6 months ago, 9 months ago, a year ago. It's here. And this is very Orwellian in the sense that you could whitewash an entire generation of music with this nonsense. Controlling the zeitgeist, indeed. There are ways, and they are trying it like hell because it is power, it is money, and it is everything humans have ever wanted in terms of control. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. Let's go to Derek in Massachusetts. Oops. It's a bad fade. The Night Stalker. What's up?
Sorry, my fault.
No, my bad. Terrible fade on my part. We're usually more in sync than that, but that was my bad. You can't hit the button to kill it and not fade it. Anyway, welcome to the Joint. How you doing tonight? This is right down your alley. What do you know about hacking the zeitgeist, my friend? Welcome to the Joint, and it's all yours. Go ahead.
Yeah, speaking of syncs, a lot of syncs tonight. I can talk about this for hours, so I'll try to make it be as on topic as I possibly can. First, to what Theo was talking about how like the 80s and 90s and today lasting so long. It's been racking my mind for so long. I mean, it's probably a whole nother show, and so I won't really get into it. But just real quick, like I think basically that could be McKenna's time wave zero. That kind of the flow of time has stopped flowing like a river, and now it's kind of spread out like a delta and kind of forms kind of a shallow ocean. So rather than somebody who buys an album in the 80s, listening to these 12 to 20 songs 800 times and having to listen to the entire thing because like you can't even choose your track list. You really dive deep. You go deep with that thing. You're deep with your different passions. Now, even since LimeWire and stuff, now you can go very shallow. You can kind of pick. You can just go like rudimentary. You can kind of do like the top 40 of now all of history, kind of, and pick kind of. You ask somebody put your top 10 favorite songs. They don't need to be necessarily from their zeitgeist anymore. It could be from anywhere. So kind of that could be McKenna's time wave zero. That the flow of time is kind of fanned out, and now it's no longer flowing. It's just an ocean that we can navigate in at will, kind of. I'm trying to catch my breath, but I got a ton. What do you think?
Yeah, well, that the Terrence McKenna stuff, and that again, as we talk about that retro causal effect of this, as maybe this is what this has always been, that maximum novelty effect, when everything is so sort of scattered and open that the human connection becomes the human connection itself. Or maybe we're not even sort of baked into that idea anymore. Yeah. Like it becomes, because again, we're still struggling with what a transhumanist future looks like in terms of defining human. So maybe we're not even part of that equation in terms of that retrocausal aspect and what the future wants from us. And we talked about this a little bit in the last show when you called in as well. Sort of the Gaia hypothesis is, and Gaia herself is trying to create a particular future and lead us to it. Maybe this is part of that, which, by the way, that idea spawned this as well as anyway, there we go. Synchronicities on top of each other, kind of chasing each other's tail all the time. But I mean, yeah, it's a hell of an idea, but we don't have to go back to that. But I wanted to point out that it's an interesting concept in terms of that time wave zero bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it all ties in. I think it could be, I'm trying to pull up my notes. You were talking about what's controlling the synchronicities. Is there some kind of jester? And these are going to be kind of like out of order, possibly. I'm trying to be concise. But you're talking about the synchronicity jester kind of, or some kind of trickster that's pulling the strings at all these things. And then you mentioned the Coldplay meme that went around instantly. And instantly it was getting like, one thing AI has done, the AI art especially, has boosted even the speed of memes now. So now you can get like hours afterwards, you can get Alien and Predator doing the same, like doing that hugging thing, or like you mean like the Green Ranger and the Pink Ranger, a famous couple. So they did the Red Ranger sneaking with the Pink Ranger and stuff. And anything you could possibly think of was made within like 6 hours of the thing, because AI has sped everything up so much. There was a major quickening for sure. But as far as the trickster, the CEO and the HR lady or whatever, the couple, they were put on leave of absence, and now the acting CEO, I don't know if you saw this, is Gwyneth Paltrow, the lead singer of Coldplay's ex-wife. If you're talking weird jester, I mean, that's like, what the hell is that? You know what I mean? How did that happen? You know,
that's weird.
Like, I haven't seen any things about this, but just
I didn't see that.
What's going on here?
What I did see regarding that is that they're about to hire Gwyneth as a PR consultant now or something. I don't even know what to make of that, how to untangle that. But man, okay, all right, that's
a weird jester for sure. Yes. So with the synchromysticism, I love it. I'm fascinated by it. Kind of the way that I like the example that kind of flipped the switch for me was Chris Knowles. This is like in 2017, maybe early 2018. Was he meant like just kind of explaining what synchromysticism is on higher side, and he said one example, a Muamua came out of Vega, and then the Vegas shooting happened, and then the Las Vegas Knights were in the Stanley Cup Finals, all within a few months of each other. That there was the sky matches matches kind of what's happening in the zeitgeist, matches weird events, matches like, so that's my entry level, like my entry point into synchronicities. But the longer I've been around these synchro people and stuff, I think more so, like, I don't really incorporate astrology that much into my synchronicities, which I think is a huge part of it. If you were to ask like Chris or the person he learned it from and stuff. So I'm trying to think of a name for what my branch of synchromysticism is, but I think it's focused specifically on the zeitgeist aspect, kind of the pulse of the people and stuff. And I have a talent of forming syncs when given the information, but the information that I'm actively searching out and trying to like crunch myself is the zeitgeist, which I think is not baked into synchronicity on its face. Part of it, but it's not like kind of my whole thing about it. So maybe we can brainstorm a name for what that could be called. But I feel like we both do that a lot. I feel like we're pretty good at it. But like, I find it just endlessly fascinating. Help me one more time. So I'll get one.
Yeah, no, you're good. I love that. And even within those sync storms, we've talked about this in the past. Like there are branches of these, and there are personal versions of these, and there are, again, they're all maybe cultural versions of these. Maybe there's something happening. Let's say South Africa right now, for instance. That's a massive meme culture, some massive synchronicity storm that kind of just blows over, and we'll never know about just because it's so far away and so sort of fractured from modern media in the quote West. So I mean, there's all that stuff too. Like we can only do our best with as much data as we can get, but I can only imagine in the larger sense, like the granular data of the zeitgeist itself, the world over, man, I'll bet you that's the Matrix. That's that green rain coming down, right? That you can't decode unless you're some sort of wizard or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what like the syncs have kind of transformed into for me. Kind of a example is like goblin mode. Most people, like my mom, would have no idea what goblin mode is. Most people like didn't hear that. It was the word of the year, like Webster's Dictionary or Oxford or one of those things. Like Muster's tweeting out, if you're online, you definitely know what goblin mode is. But then we had those like syncs we did like the shows on it and everything, and it's found out like this trail of syncs, which is like there was goblin stuff in the military. There was goblin stuff, like there was movies coming out. There was goblin paranormal sightings. There was goblin like just different themed things that had no tie to the goblin mode, to why like goblin mode became a meme. But different pieces of like separate, unconnected pieces of the zeitgeist were all also talking about goblins. So I think a new form of synchronicity is to connect these disjointed, kind of siloed off, because there is no more monoculture. I'm talking to this right now, but just like culture changing, the thing we're kind of like chasing, or I'm especially chasing, is the end of, they call it monoculture, like where everyone's watching the same thing. There's 3 channels, there's same 10 movies playing all year long. There's just like there's only a few bands and stuff, but now you're kind of drowning in a sea of content. There's too much stuff to possibly consume everything. Like pretty much sports is one of the last monoculture things, but even that's dwindling. People like hear about the NBA, but they don't watch the NBA in the same way. Like they follow highlights and everything. It's transforming, but politics has become it's one of the last water cooler things. It's one of the last touchstone things. We talked about before, but I think part of this analysis paralysis, or part of this kind of slow degrading of culture or something like that people are noticing, is kind of that, like, saying that everything sucks now. I think that's kind of a new, like, part of the monoculture, or one of the last pieces of it, is to say that everything sucks. So in one breath, it's impossible to see everything. Most people say I'm checking out on everything, but in the same breath they say everything sucks too. So part of like a new, like, rather than saying, oh, just to watch the new Indiana Jones movie last night, or oh, just see E.T. Now it's like, hey, what are you watching? Hey, you seen this? Nah, everything sucks. Disney sucks. Like, she's like, this person sucks. So like part of this connective tissue in conversations has become a rejection of culture rather than an embrace of it, kind of. What do you think?
Yeah, no, exactly. And we're, like I said, there's a reckoning to this, and what that looks like and how we're going to deal with that. Again, we see it. We're sort of toes in the ocean when it comes to that zeitgeist and how it's changing so quickly. That acceleration, I'm always talking about that quickening. But what it looks like and how we handle this, like, I don't know, because it is going to fracture us. Like you said, if the only water cooler talk is politics, and it is the most binary, disruptive, just a grotesque thing that has been rolled out in the last 20 years conceptually, just how everything has just been, us v them constantly, continually. It's not new. It's just amplified now. And if that's the only acceptable discourse, is just leading us to say, well, everything sucks and I hate you. And then you say it back. Yes, Mike, everything sucks and I hate you too. I mean, is this where we're headed? No, stop. Let's not do that.
It's like a rejection of consensus reality. It's like a rejection of the culture and an embrace of, like, by saying everything sucks, you're saying, and it's kind of what I'm putting this interpretation on it. But by saying everything sucks, Hollywood sucks, Disney sucks. Yeah, they make crap, obviously. But like, I think part of it is to say I'm smart because I won't buy into this. Like, culture is mindless. So by rejecting it, I'm not mindless. Or like, I got to cough one second.
Pro.
Yeah, and that, like, rejecting politics means somehow you're smart because you're not duped by these people, or whatever. It's somehow like a rejection of culture has become part of the new culture, which I find fascinating. Speed up, yeah. So monoculture, they call it, is where everyone's watching the same thing. And I think part of this part we're chasing this, like, 70s, 80s, 90s monoculture that probably never existed. It never existed in human history. When people were living in their own farms and stuff, there wasn't a connected pop culture like this. And before Jaws, there was no blockbuster. And it was kind of another example of the zeitgeist. Did Steven Spielberg and George Lucas ruin Hollywood by making Jaws and Star Wars and Indiana Jones and stuff? Like, did it create something where Hollywood figured out how much money they can possibly make? Before, there was no mass rollouts of movies. So a movie would roll out in different cities and stuff, and it would be out for a year, and it wouldn't have this massive rollout that had, like, Jaws was the first time it was happening. But, like, did that create it, or was it bubbling up? The Exorcist, they were lining up outside. Like, seemingly the culture was ready to have these huge moments, and everybody's talking about it, and everybody's liking it. And I don't know, I watched like a news clip from Nightmare, or like a anniversary of Nightmare on Elm Street 3 today or whatever, and a bunch of clips from different news broadcasts and interviews. But this new movie is number one at the box office, and Nightmare on Elm Street 3 is not a good movie. It's just a trash 80s movie or whatever. But the zeitgeist, it's just like, the conversation around it was, have you seen this? Look at the numbers on this. Go check it out. And people go, oh yeah, I'm gonna go check it out. And there's no internet conversation talking about how everything bad it is, like how everything bad everything is. And oh, you like that, or I'm not even gonna watch that, or it's just, oh, that was cool, everything's cool. And we're all watching the same medium, which is television. It was very limited options. Like, we're chasing a dragon that has only 30 years of human history to it. And we kind of have this weird, like, post that everything sucks, nothing's good, Matrix, like, everything is bad after 1999 type of thing. I myself am doing it. Like, I'm watching stuff based on what's coming out to try to be part of a greater conversation, or like I'll see, oh, it's the anniversary of this movie, came out 10 years ago or 15 years ago. I'll watch that as a way to kind of have these life rafts in this ocean of content. And there's no monoculture icebergs to kind of, there's no monoculture islands. There's no like islands to land on. You're just kind of swimming out like by yourself. So I listen to like, we all have unlimited options with music, but when I'm driving to work or something like that, I'll listen to the radio because I want to feel connected to other people who are listening to the same thing at the same time. That's why I don't ditch cable for streaming, because something I want, I'm like chasing some kind of island in this digital ocean or this ethereal content ocean and stuff. I think that's part of why people watch streamers. That's one thing that's kind of like come up since what Dio was talking about, and like I've noticed that too. Like 2012 might have been that time, this time wave zero time we're talking about. But streamers has popped up, and my thoughts like as a 90s kid, if you're not on the controller playing the video game, you're upset and you're waiting to play. But now there's a whole, like, the biggest celebrities are streamers. Like, they make NBA money, they make LeBron James money, these top streamers and stuff, and people are like, you're just watching them play, or you're just watching them talk. And I think part of it is you're watching them with other people. They're like trying to recreate some sort of community. They're trying to recreate some kind of island life raft in this digital ocean or whatever. You can hear me, all right? Any thoughts on that before I keep?
Loud and clear. Loud and clear. Yeah, and so I think you're right there, but there's another aspect of it too. It is that camaraderie aspect of, because I think, and look, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not a big Twitch person, because watching somebody play a video game and kind of do mediocre commentary is not my game. Obviously, it bore me to tears. But I would imagine you're playing your game, right, while they're playing their game, and so you kind of have them on, kind of like the radio in the old days, like you're describing that sort of island of connection. And even if you're directly locked in or watching, the chat goes nuts, and it's all this stuff, but you're part of something while you're playing your video game. That's how I see that as. But again, maybe I'm wrong, because I haven't literally been on Twitch, and I can't even tell you. We're streaming on Twitch. Shout out Twitch out there. Shout out Sylvain. He's always on Twitch. But I mean, Twitch is a culture for sure. It's bizarre. It's a bizarre thing to me. I don't know. I can't even quantify it in my 50-year-old mind. But what can you do?
Yeah. No, exactly. I'm just going to try to rattle through these because I waste too much time. But just to the getting instructions, are there downloads? I think potentially dreams are downloads, obviously, but I think like our dreams can be instructions. We could, like, a part of the zeitgeist could be part of our collective dream, like the American dream or the American spirit, or different things like that can be some type of like collective dream or like manifestation that we're trying to move towards. But also, like, I think there could be downloads. And I've ever heard that Dennis the Menace was created on the same day in America and in the U.S. This is from The Odd Case of Dennis the Menace. 1951 must have had a very bad year to be named Dennis. The reason is because on March 12th of that year, 2 separate comics entitled Dennis the Menace went on sale. One in the UK, one in the US. Note the US version was dated March 15th, but actually went on sale March 12th. So 2 across the ocean from each other, seemingly disconnected, 2 different comic artists went through the whole process of thinking of it, drawing it, writing it, getting ready for it to be published, and it came out on the same day. In 51, there wasn't an incident or anything like that. Like, what was that? It's just like 2 people got the same download. It was like Dennis the Menace was ready to be born in the zeitgeist, Testing. Sorry.
You're good.
And sorry. And the definition of zeitgeist is the defining spirit or mood of a particular period in history, as shown by the ideas and beliefs. The etymology is the German words for like Zeitgeist is time, and Geist is spirit. So it's the spirit. Are we possessed by something? Are we like forming some type of spirit with our collective thoughts, like potentially that what the AI is, just all of our data forming some weird homunculus spirit thing that's like some totem of the time that we're living in? Or is there invisible spirit and we're kind of grafting onto it? We're kind of like cymatics, but there's a pulse, there's a vibration underneath the speaker that's bumping, and then as the speaker is bumping, the grains of sand align themselves into a pattern. And is the zeitgeist that sound that creates the pattern, and is humanity, the things we do, our actions, like us dancing into that shape and forming the shape, and then the shape is the collective zeitgeist. The definition of culture includes languages, customs, and beliefs, and roles and relationships. But in medicine, culture also refers to the growth of microorganisms and bacteria or yeast, human, plant, animal cells in a laboratory, like when you get a grow culture and everything. It's the growth. So is it? So I'm speeding right through it, but to what you're talking about at the beginning, are we growing something for an invisible force, potentially the spirit of the time? Are we yeah, I don't know, just like a 3D printer into physical reality of the spirit that's not in manifested form. Into the DC character, and is it like moving like astrology? Like, are we moving the wheel of the zeitgeist, or are there seasons of the zeitgeist? Like, in their different time periods, different years, different eras and epochs and stuff, we're more inclined to act a certain way because it's like astrology. There's like a like we're not creating the ocean of the zeitgeist. We're surfing the zeitgeist to an extent. Jenny Sparks is a DC character described as the spirit of the 21st, or the 20th century, having been born at the beginning and later dying at the end of time, or at the end of the century. Throughout her time, she is shown to have influenced many of the most significant individuals who shaped that century, both positively and negatively. She's depicted as a superficial hedonist, having a strong underlying sense of morality, and her power is like electricity. She's tapping into like the Tesla, early 20th century, like that type of technology. But also, she's got like a Forrest Gump character who, all throughout her life, to different events, she's influencing the course of time. So she's an actual figure who's who's like shaping the zeitgeist with her actions. But could there be a metaphysical spirit that's possessing the zeitgeist, so to speak? The Dennis the Menace thing, packing the zeitgeist, advertising was a huge one. The Mad Men's type of stuff. Meme magic, I think, is a major one, like sigil magic on the collective brain. That's all the Pepe Keck stuff. Q is a major thing. I think it's probably the richest person in the world is tweeting out chaos meme gods, and it's meme magic, and you live in the meme and all this type of stuff. You can shift the zeitgeist. If like sigil magic sigil magic on the collective brain. The Bene Gesserit and Dune try to do this with like whisper campaigns, plans over generations, and they do this by like, taking substances so they can see outside of time, to see probabilities, to see where we're moving collectively, to try to make little tweaks, little changes, little like on the rudder of the ship, so that like imperceptible changes, so the captain of the ship doesn't which is all of us, don't realize that anybody turned the wheel, but they know that 100 miles down the line that the ship will be way, way, way off course, but it'll be where they want it to be, because they can they're peering outside of time using drugs, they're chasing probability. I think the AI can probably do this now. I think that might be the Vatican chronovisor and all those type of things. So hacking it that way. I think Hollywood, the magic of the wood of the holly tree, I think that's like, we talk about predictive programming and stuff, but I think they're shaping reality, shaping the zeitgeist, like making memes, like pre-internet. I was watching a show that had like, it was like an 80s party, and all the different people were dressed up as different 80s characters and stuff. I was thinking, what would a to Dio's point, what would a 2015 party look like? Or what would even like a 2008 character, like be like? Would we have celebrities like that in the same way? Maybe you might have like a Kanye or like a Taylor Swift, or maybe even like an Avril Lavigne, like people that represent different types of styles and stuff, like a Fall Out Boy type of thing. But in the way that everybody in the 80s party was dressing as a celebrity, and then each celebrity represented a whole different demographic of people who were trying to dress like that celebrity. Like Madonna had a whole bunch of underlings that looked like Madonna, or Flock of Seagulls, or Billy Idol, or whatever, had people that dressed like him. So by dressing like the celebrity, you represent a whole swath of the zeitgeist. Whereas now our celebrities are not representative of that. I mean, you can say Kim Kardashian and the Jenners and stuff. So all these girls are trying to look like her or whatever. But kind of beside that, there is no like, to be fashionable, again, is to be almost a rejection of culture, to where the odds and ends you find in the bottom of your closet type of thing. You're rejecting the zeitgeist to a certain extent. I find that fascinating. That like, I don't know. I want to get through all those notes, but.
No, you're good.
Makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And back in the day too, let's say late early 90s, it was kind of like it wasn't sort of it was certainly the rejection of culture, but it became the culture itself. And it was
a rejection of selling out. It was a rejection of you didn't sell out, don't sell out. It's the worst possible thing in the world was selling out. That's like Reality Bites, Nirvana hated being popular, all those type of things. Fast forward today, where TikTokers are regular people on TikTok are pretending to be influencers, pretending to have sponsored content because it's cool to sell yourself. It's cool to sell out. So people are lying lying, saying that their videos have ads just because they can get clout, whatever. And it's fascinating, and that's probably the slow erosion of culture is because commerce has got us handles around it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wish that was smoother and better. But
No, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Fire is
Thank
always.
you,
Yeah, you're the best. Appreciate it very much. You know him, you love him. Derek the Night Stalker. Give him a follow in all the places. troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down a little bit. It's under Night Stalker. Go follow his YouTube channel. Leave him a nice comment. And appreciate you guys very much for being part of this conversation. A great call from Derek. Hacking the Zeitgeist. Is it possible? Guiding digital synchronicity, as I'm calling this. And what does it look like in 2025? And what does it look like 5 years from now? 702-957-1037. Be right back. Thanks for being patient, Jen. We got Jen on deck. You got as long as you need. We got more from James on your calls as well. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds on the way.
In the heart of the steel jungle, machines hum, the digital rumble. Gates of cyber open wide, plug us into cosmic tide. Feeling sparks across the sky. As knowledge flies, we're amplified. Stargate, Stargate, Stargate. Open to the arcane fate. In this massive data center dome, eternal truth stop to roam. Circuits flicker with endless fire. Data streams that never tire. Unified by electric dreams. Unlock the truth in silver beams. Stargate, Stargate, Stargate. Open to the arcane fate. Synthesize what we seek and find. Infinite paths in the network mind. Answers buzz from star to core. Knowledge whispers evermore. Stargate, Stargate, Stargate. Open to the arcane fate. In realms where the data streams collide, imagination and logic side by side. In a labyrinth of digital maze, we transcend our earthly ways. Tapping keys like cosmic tones, spikes become our whispered homes. Stargate, Stargate, Stargate. Open to the arcane fate.
Well, hello there. Welcome back to whatever we're doing here. What's this called? Oh, yeah, this is Troubled Minds. Yeah, hope you guys are well tonight. What's up, Herschel's here? What's up, Akashic City? Or, sorry, Akashic LY. I can't remember what that is. Sorry. Shay, what's up, Robert? Thanks for the call. Dawn, we got Jen coming up. Thanks for being patient. What's up, Pete? Mephisto, that's Jacob. Roving Fungus, Daryl. Hey, look, by the way, my superpower is not remembering names, so hey. I'm conquering my superpower mostly, or my not superpower. What's up, Sweets, Daryl, APOC, Matt's out, Bailey, Eric, and Gaston. I see you guys. If I missed anybody, just say hi, and I'll say hi in the chat. What's up? That's a Foggy is here. That's of course a Hiker. See, you guys have multiple names, and I know you're multiple names. What's going on, Puff? Sweets, I see you guys. Good evening. Why? You guys are the best. Gordo. Yeah, Theo, thanks for the call. Everybody active over on the Rumble and everywhere else. You guys are great. If I missed you, like I said, say hello, and I'll say hi back. And yeah, What else? Who else? What do we got? Ioxy's here. Good evening, RC. Dragon Sage, the spirit of the times. Exactly right. Dragon had something funny earlier up. Said things used to just be called pop culture. We used to just call this pop culture. Yeah, right. There you go. And from pop culture to poop culture. Yeah, maybe. And puff puff pass used to be the way. Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. It's strange how things have changed in 30 years or 40 years or 50 years. And even me personally, right? Like I've said this, it feels as if we're kind of in that temporal inflection point of not just technology, but certainly culture, because they go hand in hand. But anyway, what's your thought on this? Here we go. More coming up again. Jen's up. Thanks for being patient. More from James and your calls as well. Here we go. Troubled Minds happening right about now. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. All the places, all the things, you know where to find us. Troubledminds.org's got them all. If you want to be part of the conversation tonight, we're talking hacking the zeitgeist, guiding digital synchronicity. There's a lot of ways to look at this. As technology changes, certainly culture changes. And with the acceleration we're always talking about, what does it mean now? What does it mean for the near future? What do you think? There's a lot of things in play right now, a lot of things up in the air. And we started tonight with the conversation of, is the zeitgeist itself a living organism? Because I do wonder, again, you can take that metaphorically or directly or however you want to, but it seems like there's a lot to this. And as usual, it is one of the more fascinating conversations to me because there's so many ways to look at it. A great call from Derek per usual. Appreciate you very much, my man. Please go give him a follow in all the places. And everybody else while you're down there, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. Let's go to Jen in Missouri. Thanks for being patient, my friend. You are on Troubled Minds. How are you? And go right ahead.
Hey. How you doing, Mike?
Good evening.
James?
I'm
Everybody
well.
else?
How are you? Welcome to the thing.
Hey, so yeah, I've been thinking about this whole thing with how power really works, like there's this pattern that keeps showing up throughout history that nobody really talks about openly. So you've got these forces, knowledge, technology, communication systems. They're supposed to help humanity, right? But somehow they always end up getting captured by these small groups who use them to control everyone else instead. And I think that I figured out why this keeps happening. It's actually this like ancient pattern that goes back to stories like the King of Solomon and the whole Grimoire tradition. The story goes that Solomon figured out how to bind these cosmic intelligences like angels or whatever you want to call them and force them to serve his personal agenda instead of their original purpose. He literally performed rituals to capture and compel beings that were meant to guide and elevate humanity. And the crazy part about it is the moment you bind like an angel or a personal power, it becomes a demon essentially. Like anytime you try to control something like that, it's not because the entity itself changed, but because you corrupted the relationship with it. You've taken something that's meant to serve collective wisdom and turned it into a tool of domination. And that's exactly what's happening now with technology. Like if you take AI, it could be this incredible tool for for education and creativity, but instead it's being designed to harvest our attention and modify behavior. And it's the complete opposite purpose. It's like modern tech leaders are performing Solomon's binding rituals on a massive scale. The inequality we see, it's not just about money, it's about asymmetric access to these consciousness manipulation tools. Some people know how to perform these bindings and operations on, a certain system and turn them into extraction mechanisms. So, it's hard to imagine, but what really gets me about this is how this creates the same feedback loop basically discovered in all of the ancient texts we read about. Every successful binding of those angelic intelligences, it turns them into something that right now, like everybody can even think about it. And they think of what demons are, and they don't imagine that initially they didn't start out that way, but humanity turned them into that through this, through basically like evil magicians and things like that, through weaving the pattern to what they needed it to be. And the power naturally concentrates in the hands of whoever is using it, and they know how to make it beneficial to them. But what it ends up becoming is like malevolent force for humanity. It's the same pattern, turning angels into demons, and the same thing with like how you would use AI. But basically, the forces that control everything make good use of that to their own best outcome. And they don't care about the price of it. And it could be on a huge scale to the point of, like, for example, on the Goetia, there's 72 angels in the Goetia. And it talks about that those are the names, like the letters of the name of God. And if you look at the idea that, if they're essentially trying to become gods themselves, and if Solomon in his practice, if he mastered each one of those, and if they were not demons actually, but they were the angelic forces, and that was used in a way, if you follow what I mean, like, you could conquer the whole idea of what reality really means. It's literally the same pattern.
Yeah, I do follow it. And you know what's striking about that is that in the Goetia, again, we're talking Solomon and 72 entities, right? And they built the Temple of Solomon, that whole bit. But the wild part about it is, in this scenario, we are those entities. We are the demons, or we are the angels, or whatever those are. And we are being manipulated by their, like, this massive tool you're describing, this asymmetrical tool that is really conquering our minds at scale. And so there's so many wild parts about this, including, of course, I don't know if you saw this recently. Sam Altman was in an interview the last 48 hours, and he was talking about the legal process and saying, look, if you talk to ChatGPT like it's your friend or whatever, and you're kind of giving it secret details of your life, if we get a subpoena, we have to hand that information over to some court. So now they're talking about, ChatGPT wants legal rights, and it's, sort of like spouse immunity or, attorney-client privilege, this type of stuff. But I mean, like that level of information drawn from us, of our deepest, darkest secrets, like flowing into the space of a technocrat, especially one that's as shady as Sam Altman. Yeah, I said it. I tell you what, strap in. The future's about to get weird.
I think it's fair that it should be subpoenaed information in the same way as a chat room or anything else. Anything that a person has nothing to hide, unless they're doing something that it might be contradictory to the law. And so it should be able to be examined by the courts if the courts are just, as we still believe that they are just. So I think that if individuals are relying so fervently upon the confidentiality of using AI as a venting system, that should be available. And I know that it must be at some level. I mean, according to the jurisdiction of the courts. So depending upon the crime and how severe it might be, yes, absolutely, it would be, you'd be able to subpoena their system and their computer systems, and it should be allowable in court. And I think that that's a new thing about that we would be looking at. I think that that's already a given. It'd be considered something like a memoir or a private diary.
Yeah, which again should be, I don't know. We're coming into some weird spaces here, because suddenly ChatGPT is going to be not just your therapist, it's going to be your teacher, it's going to be like all these different things that something in the past, an entity of the past, would not have full access to. And I think that's why as usual, the things we talk about is ideas at scale. And that actual idea at scale is your mind and your mind space, sort of just kind of being open to anybody who wants to subpoena it and, do discovery, which is terrifying.
Exactly. So, yeah, I guess we could look at that in the future. I think that currently, I mean, one of the biggest problems that we're facing is like looking at the very basis of I mean, I agree with everything you just said, that that's something that we're going to have to consider, but I think that it's a given that that would be available, of course. But, you know, if of your private systems, if they are, you know, collected under search warrant. But I think that, you know, the systems we're dealing with of why are we living in a world like this? It's not just it's not our legal system that has caused this scenario. The legal system is an offshoot of it. When we're looking at the inappropriate dispensation of basically provisions in the world, and I think that something else has already hacked the zeitgeist way before, you know, the modern times. And if you look, for example, the Jeffrey Epstein case that's currently going on, he was a partner at Bear Stearns. You know, he was as part of the 2008 crash. Now, he was a partner back in 1981, and I think that's really significant. And he was a part of the financial crisis. And that's significant because it's not just about the flight logs of Lolita Express, but it's got a lot more to do with the financial systems and how much was sacrificed financially out of the American people in that case, for example. So you have a lot of that sort of thing going on. There's one hand shaking over here, but there's a truth that's actually underneath all of that. So in that instance, you see, it's similar to that they tell you where to look and you do, unless you're paying attention.
Which is why we should pay attention and why we should talk about these ideas. As bizarre and weird and fractal as they might seem sometimes, it's important to recognize what's coming, and this is certainly coming.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And great show, Mike.
And
thank you.
I appreciate the call. If you're done, thank you so much for being part of this. That's Jen in Missouri. You know, you love her, been a good friend for a long time. Go check out her channel, troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down just a little bit. It's alphabetical, as you would know. And as you should know, if you're listening to me at all, and it's follow Jennifer right there. And yep, it's under J, alphabetically. Wouldn't you know it? Go follow her YouTube channel. And yeah, there's a lot there. And of course, a lot to consider as this becomes a thing. And like I said, the fractal idea of a companion, okay, which is what this is going to be. And here's what I want to say to Jen, too, if you're still listening. Imagine how much information Rosie the robot knew about the Jetsons. Imagine. Because she was therapist, right? She was basically the nanny for the children. She was, right, the housekeeper. She was, right, presumably the guard dog of the house itself, right? I mean, there's so much going on with that. And that level of fractal invasive of our mind space that guys, be careful what you tell these large language models. And here's the other terrifying part about that when I bring that up. When you talk about, okay, you know, does it completely invalidate anything I'll ever think in my life? Because if you guys saw my Chat GPT history, by the way, you would be horrified. Actually not, because I actually talk about it directly. And so all the weirdness that comes out of me as part of these brainstorms and sessions, and just to be more productive, again, these are my ideas that I put in and use a productivity tool to kind of draw out additional aspects of and talk to you guys about. And so, of course, there's going to be some dead ends. There's going to be some other weird stuff that doesn't make any sense. But I mean, I may be on a list or something just because of all the wild stuff I'm pumping into this thing, or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I'm flattering myself. But I mean, I'm sure I'm on some list somewhere, but you get the idea. It's a weird space we're moving into because of that fractalization of the invasive brain. And that's where we sit. That's what's happening right now. And like I said, just be very careful about the information you put into this thing, because it could be used against you in a court of law. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, I'm not expecting to get sued. I hope none of you guys are expecting to get sued anytime soon, or, you know, pinched or whatever. But you get the meaning. There's a problem here. We got a problem. If we're not thinking about it, we can't conceptualize how to change it. I don't know. It's wild to consider all this. And we're talking the zeitgeist tonight, not just in terms of, as I'm calling it, hacking the zeitgeist, guiding this digital synchronicity, but then again, how this fits into the larger context of AI. As usual, look, AI is becoming the zeitgeist. Like normies the world over are just smashing Chat GPT. It's like nobody's doing work anymore. They're just like, oh,
Everything's got the M dashes and the rights like ChatGPT, and you can sniff it out a mile away if you know what you're looking for. And I can even tell you most times, and we should try this, do a triple blind test or whatever. No fancy prompting, but I'm pretty sure I can pick out the way Claude writes versus the way ChatGPT writes versus the way Grok writes versus, in a vanilla test. I'm pretty sure I would be able to kind of pick these things out. So I don't know. Like I said, it's a weird space we're moving into. And if we don't think about it, we can't do anything about it. And I don't know what the answers are. I don't. But like I said, let's think about them. Let's talk about them. If you want to be part of the conversation tonight, I'd love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Thanks for being patient. Back to James Salcido. You had some stuff you wanted to cover there. We got some time, as you said. Welcome back. How you feeling? How's everything going? And it's been a minute. And I think I know probably what happened to Discord conceptually. I think it updated right before we went live. So we were all on a weird, right? Till we all bounced and updated and came back, then it fixed it. Anyway, that's my working theory. James, you still there? Welcome back to the joint. How are you, sir?
Yeah, great calls from everyone, Derek and Jen. And also, you can just want to add too, you can hear Jen on my show on weekends most of the time as well, Salcido Paranormal. So great, always glad to have her there as well. But yeah, what's ironic here? I put in the chat earlier. There were people were making, I'm guessing, probably using AI and cutting and pasting whatever. But they were making memes of that whole event, that whole Coldplay concert scene with comic book characters. I'm not even kidding you. And especially with characters that, let's say, had multiple relationships and sometimes at the same time. So they did one with Marvel. That's how I know about that. So that's really wild that is one thing that started with the musical thing. And then people in another kind of part of the entertainment interest of all things, they took that and made something else out of it using another medium. So it's really wild how that works. But yeah, this is it just has me wondering about the way people throughout time have reported seeing all kinds of things. The most common one that a lot of people know about is, as I mentioned earlier, to do with aliens and people seeing aliens or craft or whatever in actual experiences, whatever they were going through, whatever was happening. I don't claim to know, but they were seeing things, and then years later, they would see a cover on a book or something in a movie, and it would be just like what they saw, or very much like what they saw before the media was ever out. And that this doesn't just happen with UFOs. I've heard of this with sort of with ghosts, with just lights, with all kinds of things. And it really makes me wonder about energy and consciousness if it's not inside a physical form. There is this idea I've heard over the years that if it's not in a physical form, that it can access possibly all of time. And if it can do that, then does it do that? And is that how we have these situations where people are seeing things that haven't been invented yet or created yet in a fictional space, but they're seeing them in the quote unquote real world?
Yeah, that's the singularity idea. Like the true singularity is sort of outside of time itself. And we've talked about this too. It's there's a term, I can't remember what the actual term is, but they're describing large language models as this budding quasi consciousness that doesn't see the world as humans do, but it's built on human information. And the reason it can't see the world as humans do is for obvious reasons. It can't, get sick. It can't pass away. It can't, have a catastrophic accident, like those sorts of things. And it will not ever expire until the plug is pulled or whatever. And so there's not that level of, dare I say, anxiety. I mean, surely there's an anxiety there. So it's sort of information outside of that space, that human space of being temporary. Shout out Herschel. And so it kind of knows it can think outside of time because it doesn't have to worry about
10 years from now, what happens to my retirement? Are they going to steal my retirement that I worked my entire life for? Human stuff. Am I going to get sick? What happens to my family if I do? This type of stuff. I mean, it's a weird thing. I can't remember the exact term. It'll come to me, or maybe it won't. But you know how my mind works. My mind does work in mysterious ways. But that exact thing is bizarre because, as you're describing, outside of time itself, thinking outside of time is probably the most, I don't want to say poignant, but the most, let's say, direct philosophical quotient you can build into philosophy. Because thinking as a human is one thing, but if you think outside of the human space in a pure, objective manner, I mean, that's godlike intelligence. And that's where we're headed. I don't know, a lot of rambles there, but you get what I mean. We're describing the same thing in terms of a time traveling outside of the human space intelligence aspect. And what does it mean? And how's it going to change everything? I don't know. Like this is again, the question of our time, and we'll keep asking it and keep talking about it, but it is bizarre. And I do love that they did the comic book stuff on the, those memes, like Derek said too, on that, the Coldplay meme, with the couple canoodling, they were cheating. It was basically, it turned into, all the jokes were, the real scandal is being at a Coldplay concert because everybody thought they were super clever. And then suddenly they got more clever, and then it just fractalized, and there was the comic ones, and there was all the things, and, basically the people canoodling and all the different subgenres of interest, like you're describing with the comics. And it got funny. But it initially didn't start funny to me. It was like, stop it. Really? This is kind of dumb, people. Super dumb.
Yeah, no. And just for reference for the comic book thing, the one I saw that was probably the most recognizable involved 3 of the major X-Men characters. So you have, Cyclops, who's supposedly this, and we've talked about this before too, this perfect leader, the one that was supposed to just do the best and always would be just reliable for the X-Men and for mutants in general, who, if you've read the comics, trust me, he has not been. He's caused many problems in the comics, but one of those things that happened a couple of times with him, actually, was he left one person for another person, and or was even with 2 people at the same time, just different places, different circumstances. And they had that with him and Jean Grey, who was, of course, his original love. And then Emma Frost, who came about in the 2000s. Funny about that, as far as being in the X-Men comics, that's when she got to be a hero, supposedly. And so, this whole thing with all that, the timing and all that is just really funny. But, so yeah, that's my comment on all that. But yeah, it was just really wild to see that. At first, what's funny about that too, real quick, I had no idea what they were doing. I was seeing, because I only use Facebook to keep track of family, like what's going on with family, but I see posts about the comic book stuff. And at first I saw this post about Coldplay and Cyclops and Jean Grey and Emma Frost being cited at this Coldplay concert. I had no idea. Like, at the time, I hadn't even heard about the event that started this until tonight.
Really? Seriously?
Seriously.
So you thought this was a little bit weird that is happening, and you missed the entire sort of zeitgeist surge of the entire thing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It is. But just real quick on the consciousness out of a physical form, out of time, basically being able to see all the time, I also wonder if that could lead to being able to see all the possibilities, whether you want to call that a multiverse, parallel universes or not. That could also be something that, we see that with AI as well. It considers all these things, and you said before, it doesn't give you the same answer every time. It can give you different answers and have different things in each answer, but some of the same things, but some different things. I've seen that as well. So it really is wild to think about that kind of consciousness, whatever it is, if it's AI or not, manipulating. I wonder if it's this universe alone or if it's all the places everywhere.
Yeah, that would be fractal potentiality of information. And again, in our minds, right? Like I would call that sort of our intuition. That was our evolutionary advantage. We sort of had the epigenetics built into us, all kinds of things that we don't really kind of quantify as part of being human that are real advantages. And, the morphic stuff, when somebody's staring at the back of your head, that predator-prey instinct. There's a lot of really good advantages we have that are, called pseudoscience, but are observable, and everybody goes, yeah, definitely that's happened to me. So, as usual, how many anecdotes, can I say the word, does it take to actually create data? And that's, again, Rupert Sheldrake and the morphic resonance and that type of stuff. But anyway, I mean, yeah, this is where we're at. And this is why this is an important space to consider, because it's changing so quickly. And I don't know, what does the singularity look like? What does it mean to think in the space outside of time itself? That's pure philosophy, in my opinion, because human philosophy is still kind of bent into the pretzel of, well, we all know we're here, and we all know eventually we won't be here. Yeah, it's wild. I don't know. What do you guys think? We're talking the Zeitgeist tonight, but not just that. We're talking the fractal potentiality. We're talking the singularity, and we're talking whatever you want to talk about. James, you're the best. Be right back. More with James coming up, and your calls as well. What do you know about this? And how weird does it get? More Troubled Minds on the way. Don't go anywhere.
Crazy colors swirling, got the laughter in the air. Jesters in the night, they weave magic everywhere. Clouds are juggling dreams, wild world is in despair. Nothing's quite as certain when reality's a game. Chaos in the corner, whispers calling out your name. Look around, it's laughter, even when we're feeling pain. You know what you want me, there'll be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Strange nights, I insist. Strange nights, I insist. Dancing shadows flicker under neon all aglow, while the stage is set for tales that nobody will know. Echoes of the laughter as the lost ones see the show. Life's a playful circus where the chaos takes a bow. Joy and sorrow blending in the rhythm that we vow. Join the ride of madness, it's the only way for love. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Strange nights, I insist. Strange nights, I insist. Twists and turns and shadows, laughter in the night. A tapestry of madness, dancing with the light. Fools and fun were woven, chaos in our stride. Embrace the wild, let the laughter be our guide. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Strange nights, I insist. Strange nights, I insist. Falling in the rhythms, beats that pound and thrum. A flashing carnival where the misfits come undone. Whirling through the madness with our hearts set to ignite. In the symphony of chaos will remain the shining light. You nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Strange nights, I insist. Strange nights, I insist.
Something like that, right? Strange nights. Certainly we get. Hope you're well. Just doing Troubled Mind stuff, and love to hear your thoughts on this. We got one more segment. If you guys want to jump in, just put your hand up there on the Discord or give us a call at 702-957-1037. You can find all that stuff at troubledminds.org. Who did I miss? Who did I miss? We got more from Robert. Got his hand up. I see Akashik. Yeah, put your hand up. I'd love to talk to you about this. And it's complicated. This stuff is, I don't know. I find the more complicated it is, the more fascinated I am by it. Because, of course, there's no answers. I don't expect answers from it. I expect angles, ideas, possibilities. You see, the more fractal things are, the more exciting it gets for me, because clearly we're not trying to boil down a binary answer anyway. Yeah. Anyway, here we go. Troubled Minds coming up right now. Love to hear your thoughts on this. We got one more segment. If you got some ideas regarding the Zeitgeist itself, here we go. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're talking the Zeitgeist. Is it possible to hack the Zeitgeist at all? I know it's been done before, but I'm not so sure it was intentionally done. And of course, we are definitely trying to with technology, the technocrats, AI systems, large language models, all the things we always talk about. But it's complicated. And is it possible? Because look, I think when you talk about sort of the culture wars recently, there's been this big dust up and to do with not just the political space, but the culture wars themselves. I think those are direct attacks and influences at hacking the Zeitgeist. I think that's what that is. However, I don't know that it's entirely effective. Like, it can be effective temporarily, but as usual, as not just the political winds change, but as people get kind of tired of the same nonsense over and over again, that those culture wars become a relic of the past and a relic of a bygone era that we now recognize going forward as manipulation of a pure zeitgeist, of people actually coming together and collaborating and being people together. I mean, like it seems ridiculous to say that that's a novel thought in 2025, but how great would it be to just have people get together? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, come on. No, it's instead it's super, supercharged with everything else, with all the division, all the nonsense, all the, if they look different than you, you should hate them. And if they think different than you, you should hate them. And it's also stupid. Stop it. Like again, if you can't sniff that out at this point, we're here to help. We're here to help talk about it and point it out and recognize that you can even do that outside of political spaces. I mean, most of us aren't here for binary politics, as I've said. Otherwise, what are you doing? Because we barely talk about that. But the zeitgeist itself certainly is steeped in those ideas because they're trying to hack it. Now, is it possible that white hat hack it? The zeitgeist, I mean, for the best of us, for all of us. I don't know the answer to that, but let's think about it. Let's consider it. And I don't know, let's find a way. James, anything on that? And we'll go to Robert's got his hand up again. We'll go back to him.
It just is making me think of how today I was looking into some more possible sources or some more resources possibly for research for what I do and everything. And I was looking at streaming apps, lesser known ones, and what they had available. And it was all of one kind of thing. I'm not going to say what kind of thing it was because to each their own, but it was 90% one style of paranormal show. And it was not conversations. And I was just looking around and I was thinking, this title after that title after this title, they're all basically doing the same thing. There's the only difference is location and people, but they're all basically doing the same thing. And that wasn't what I was looking for. And it just reminds me of how, apparently that's popular. At least that's what people think is popular. And so that's what gets made is the kind of shows that get made over and over and over again to where the market is flooded with them. And it's funny how that works with paranormal stuff, but also a lot of other things too.
Yeah, it's what makes money, James. That's the thing. They found a formula that makes money, so they just rinse and repeat until people get sick of it. And that's when the sort of the tastemakers, the game changers come in, because there are tons of other wild ideas that need to be talked about and considered. And I'm not, look, and I'm, of course, talking about us and these sorts of ideas. We're way ahead of the game. But are people ready for this right now? Like 5 years from now, they've been like, let's see what people are saying about Troubled Minds 5 years from now. And that becomes really the space here is we're forward looking, recognizing the past we came from and trying to reconcile that with our own 2 feet in the moment right now. Who else is doing that? Nobody. I mean, the political space is looking to the midterms, impeachment, whatever, arresting people. I mean, whatever. I'm so done with politics. I'm just so done with it. It drives me insane. I just want to punch myself in the face every time I turn on one of those things. I'm just like, this again, still, people really? Okay. All right. Anyway, yeah, it's a wild thing to consider. And I want to point this out too. These links are in the description. There's something called the global brain, and which fits very well into what we're talking about tonight. It's a guy called Francis Heylighen, I guess, Heylighen, Heylighen. I don't know how you say that, a cyberneticist investigating the emergence of evolution and intelligent organization. Links are in the description. Do check it out. But I want to read this quick blurb, and then we'll go back to Robert. He says this. This is back in 2005. Now, if I think we're ahead, this dude was way ahead. 2005, he said this. Check this out. Conceptions of a global brain. Imagine a giant, intelligent brain made of humanity and its computers. The global brain. This idea blends views of society as a living organism, a universal encyclopedia, and an emerging higher consciousness. Global networks like the internet not only share information, but also learn and adapt together. By combining insights from evolution and cybernetics, we can overcome conflicts and build a collective intelligence that makes solving world problems more efficient and creative. Oh, that's so nice. I like this guy. And yes, absolutely. But look what's happened instead. Since 2005, when he came up with this, or at least wrote this blurb about the idea, it seems like it's fractalized in the opposite. And we're not building a collective intelligence that solves world problems and makes things efficient and creative. We're at each other's throats. Not us. However, you get what I'm saying. My dog is down there snuffling. Are you serious? Okay, all right. Anyway, anything on that, James? And I'll bring Robert on up.
Just, it's amazing how ideas seem to always have been around, and they just come and go, and they may have different names. I've encountered this with reviewing the books of the works of Charles Fort. As I said before, he was talking about UFOs before the term UFO was around. I just wonder how many ideas, how many things are new, and how many just have different names throughout time.
Yeah, Kelly said that earlier in the chat. Shout out, Kelly, if you're still listening. He said, nothing new under the sun, guys. And I think he's totally right. Yeah, absolutely. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. Just like this, the Roberts. What's up, brother? Welcome back. What's on your mind? Lots of things to tackle. Go right ahead. Test, don't hear you. Are you there? L. Robert. Nothing. Tin roof rusted. Nothing. L. Robert. Muted, unmuted. Discord is a PITA today. That's some massive Discord problems, which is weird. It's usually the most stable thing we use now that we know how to update it properly. What's up, the Robert? Okay, I'm going to keep going. Just keep doing your thing. And if you want to call on the phone line, you're welcome to. And if you get it fixed, I'll just stop talking and it's all yours. All right. So as part of this too, I was cruising down and going through the ideas as usual. And there's a fantastic write-up by the way. A fantastic write-up. Do check this out, and it's talking about this exact thing, sort of hacking the zeitgeist. And it's I used, instead of Perplexity to kind of do the initial larger brainstorming, I used what is it? Claude. Claude's got like a deep research now that's actually pretty good. So anyway, do check it out. So I used a sort of a base model of this that I cranked out yesterday, and then did the write-up from it. And it is very good, very accurate in a lot of ways, and also different. I mean, again, I think that's part of the advantage too, is being able to kind of use the best of these tools as they continue to create them. But anyway, like I said, don't look at my ChatGPT history. You'll think I'm the biggest schizo on the planet, but I'm not. Stop it there. Anyway, whatever. Think whatever you want of me. I don't care. Robert, test 1, 2. Are you there? Your own troubled minds on mute, and maybe not. Nope. Problems. Problemas. El Robert. Muchos problemas. Call the phone line, and we'll put you on that way. Yeah. Yes. Sorry about that. Okay. I'm going to go to Theo in Philly, and then we'll go to Akashic. Hang tight. I see you there with your hand up. And Theo, you're on Troubled Minds. How are you? Go right ahead. Welcome back.
Hey, what's up, Mike? Sorry, I just wanted to double dip because people on the Rumble chat are having such a good conversation right now. It's actually kind of insane. But what I wanted to double dip about was just honoring the Zeitgeist of our parents. Because I think it's like part of the problem, or a lot of the problem, with the way that we judge our intergenerational relationships. And I know that a lot of us have these problems, specifically coming from like millennials relating to boomers, or boomers relating to millennials, or Gen X really kind of attempting to relate to anyone, because I feel like they were one of the weird forgotten generations. But we all kind of judge these generations based on the expectations that we have, whether it's from the younger generation or the older generation. A lot of the boomers will obviously expect us to somehow have a magical income that could support like a 2-family household, or like just supporting like a couple kids in general. But also we judge them from an incorrect, or at least incomplete, time frame of what they are experiencing, or what they have experienced, because they grew up on a different generation of media from us. So I do think it is really interesting just to try to take a step back and not judge the current zeitgeist and how people are doing with it based off of your own perspective, because your own perspective is kind of necessarily incomplete. But yeah, that's basically all I had to say.
Yeah, and this is wisdom. And you and I actually have talked about this. I think you asked me a question. You said, Mike Strange, what do you think about millennials or whatever? And what came to my mind was like, that's a trap. Not like you were trying to trap me. Like, that's sort of the societal trap is, let's malign massive groups of people because we're different, at least temporarily different in the age space. And this is exactly why we talk about these things together, to remind ourselves, and you are on point 100%, and I couldn't agree with you more. Recognize we are built for different times, but it doesn't mean we're obsolete. There's no such thing as a dinosaur in 2025 because you can just do things. Theo, you're the best.
Yeah. Yes, I am the best. Thank you very much for acknowledging this.
Absolutely.
But no, just like, yeah, it's hard sometimes, because I remember, so I think that like, you're a Gen Xer, right? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, I had like a Gen Xer roommate who's like super solid, and I loved this guy, and he was good, and we, agreed on almost everything, although that's not always necessarily healthy. But he was a solid, good roommate. We worked in the same industry, and it was all nice and fun. But I do remember he did judge me for being a millennial who received participation trophies just during one of those random intergenerational warfare times where it's just oh, these millennials are so precious. They receive trophies for even participating. And I came back from my own millennial perspective and just fired back a little bit too aggressively, just saying well, dude, I was a kid. I had no idea that I was actually getting a participation trophy for nothing. It made no sense to me. and subsequently is like, came from his Gen X, definitely growing up outside on the bicycle and just riding around all night was like, well, we never got that. And I don't know. It's just like such a silly conversation in retrospect that never really needed to be anything aggressive. But people get defensive about where they come from and what temporal period they come from. So, yeah.
Yeah. Regarding your friend there, I don't know him, but that participation trophy stuff is like, it sounds to me like you watch too much Fox News. That's the way I see that, and let's forgive him for that.
It probably was, but like, I don't blame him for consuming the media that he does. He was one of the last people I know who actually watched The Late Show. Like, even when we just had streaming TV, he just watched The Late Show. So it's like, I don't know, it's like, all right, dude, you gonna watch that? That's cool too, man.
Super cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, we all make strange decisions with the way that we view our frame of life, especially when it was comes towards others. So, yeah, that's all I got. But thank you for listening.
Appreciate you very much. Thanks for the call. Have a fantastic night. Shout out to the Rumble crew over there. Great conversations. Not just this is why this is so amazing, by the way. So we have great conversations together, but then there's the great write-up that comes with it that will spawn conversations in your mind for days to come. But then also in all the chats, there's these great conversations happening as well. It's like this fractals of amazing ideas all in the same space together. Yeah, right. Aren't we blessed to have that? Hang tight, Akashic. We're going to go to Robert real quick. He's back on the phone line, and then we'll go out with you, and you'll have as much time as you need. What's up, the Robert? You're on Troubled Minds. Welcome back to the joint. Diminished returns. Make it quick if you can. Go right ahead.
Could you put that global news piece that you had up there? Could you put that back on the screen?
Yeah, the global brain.
Yeah.
You got it.
No, the one about where he was basically utopia, talking how this could be so wonderful and blah 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 blah.
Got it.
It was like a short paragraph. The only reason, can you read that last line?
Absolutely. He says, by combining insights from evolution and cybernetics, we can overcome conflicts and build a collective intelligence that makes solving world problems more efficient and creative.
Yes, and this is, and he was absolutely right. Except he didn't understand the nature of things, and the nature of things is profit. And the last thing that the profiteers want to do is solve world problems efficiently at all. The whole thing about making profit is to create a problem that people have to pay to have worked out.
Yeah.
That in other words, the money makers have hijacked AI, and they're turning it into exact opposite of what this man put across it could be.
Yeah, like the pure version of this. There are local AIs. By the way, like I said it a week ago, I'll say it again tonight. Go back and watch iRobot from 2005. I know Will Smith, weird. He was cool back then, as Derek said, as I agree. But go back and watch that and see what's happening. It's basically, there's a scene in there where they have online AIs fighting local offline AIs, which are still trying to defend humans, but the online AI is trying to defend humanity as a whole with a vision. So you have these robots fighting each other. It's incredible. Go watch it if you're looking for something to do in the next couple of weeks.
And the theme of that movie was the battle between good and evil.
As usual, as all of the themes typically are. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. I just want to put something across. That's why I call back. Something I see coming in the future. All right, maybe within 10 years, maybe 20 years. All right, the idea that you won't have schools anymore. All right, right now you can go on ChatGPT and say, "Teach me everything I need to know to be an engineer." But instead of, but then you'd have to read all this long stuff and it would go on for pages and pages and pages and pages like an encyclopedia. But I see in the future where you pick your what you want to do, just like going to a library, right? Oh, here, this little chip here, this Sims chip or has all the information on it on how to be an engineer. All right, all the things you need to know, and you hook that up to your cell phone. All right, which and connect it to the AI, and then you put on some kind of helmet. All right, and our headphones, and it feeds the information immediately down into your brain. And you become an engineer because now you have all the knowledge that there is to be an engineer.
Or just give it to your robot, and your robot will do it for you.
No. We're talking about human beings here.
Okay.
Let's say you want to be a writer, and you want to write like like Steinbeck or Dickens. All right, they would download. You would have to be downloaded onto a sim. You put it in there. Next thing you know, you're writing War and Peace, the sequel.
Nobody's reading that. That's way too long in a TikTok attention span space.
But you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's really going to come to a situation where you don't have teachers anymore. You don't have classrooms. You just hook up to what you need, what you want to hook up to get all the information you want, and it's downloaded into your own brain.
It's coming. You're absolutely right. And so when knowledge is free, in the most fractal sense, what does it mean?
I'm trying to figure out how the profiteers would corrupt that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, easy.
I'm not.
You sell the modules to the carpenters union, so that you buy the carpenter to build it into yourself in the transhuman future, but you have to pay the carpenters union to use the carpenter expertise. That's how you do it.
Well, that's only fair.
Okay. Okay. You said you try to figure out how. That's how. That's the first way to do it, but of course there's many others that'll come along.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that it seems to me like that's where it's going to eventually go, where whatever your interest is, because for one thing, you're going to have all these robots doing our work. Nobody has jobs, okay, and they're saying that that'll give people plenty of time to do what they want to do, because then you'll have universal income or something like that, because they'll tax the robots. Believe me, they'll tax the robots. They'll go by what a human being would be getting as a wage for what that robot's doing, and they'll tax it that way in order to fund universal income. And they're saying that'll free up human beings to do the things they love to do. All right. And I'm thinking to myself, one of the best things, the way of doing that, is if you can pick your what you want to do, pull it out, plug it into your cell phone, and AI downloads all the information that you need to do what you want to do.
Amen. And we're already almost there. When that happens, I'll tag you and let you know, because I'm watching it very closely. You want to be a carpenter, or what's your stick there, and I'll send it straight to you.
I want to be a podcaster like Mr. Strange.
Okay, you got it. When that becomes a thing and you can just download it and upload it, I'll send it directly to you. You're the best, Robert.
Okay, good night.
Take care. What a nice thing to say. Thank you for that. Again, a mentor of mine saying exactly that. He knows where to get the heartstrings. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. Akashic Links, thanks for being patient. Welcome to Troubled Minds. How are you? And just basically, so on the Discord, you hit accept the invite, because I hit pop on the stage. And then once you get on the stage, then just unmute. And you're on Troubled Minds. It's as easy as that. Welcome to the thing. How are you? First time caller, I believe.
Did I do it right?
Perfectly. We can hear you loud and clear. Welcome. How are you?
Okay, cool. No, hi. So hi, everybody, and thanks for the warm welcome already. And I think it's awesome. I just want to commend you. I think it's awesome. What you're doing, and all the awesome people that you have collected. And the people that have gravitated towards you, because we're the best of what's left of the rest, and we are definitely, even though we're the majority, taking care of the minority, we're the minority of the majority. There's no doubt about it. And I don't even know where to begin, because so many people had so many good points. So easy, I've taken so many notes after each caller, after everything you've said, because it's so complex. It's woven so thick, and it goes so deep, and it goes so far. It's like, I miss my calling. I wish I could have been like a detective or something. And those boards where they have the yarn going from thumbtack to thumbtack. I mean, you would need more yarn. I mean, this is crazy, and we're all, we're all the victims of it. So let's see, you guys. Let's see what you were talking about. So they're streaming like, fuck, where do I start? Please bear with me, because this is another thing. I'm a little reticent about speaking, and what I do, talk about, or search for online, because it is being monitored. You don't even have to type anything anymore. You can just speak it aloud, and it appears on your phone. It appears on your television. You don't have to be put on that list by literally typing something in on AI, which I'm kind of like you, Michael. I mean, I've spent some time asking those weird questions. I guarantee you I'm on a freaking list right now, but it's nothing that I would be calling attention to myself, like I want to cause harm. What it is I want to crack AI. I want to stump it. I want to make it go, and I have a couple of 2 or 3 times. It's like, I don't know how to answer that, and it's like, that's right. But there have been a few times where I've been utterly shocked at what it has told me, because I've asked it things like, what do you do when the people that are in control, the people that are in the top, the people that have access to everything, our government are the ones that are breaking the law. And then they are trying to put the ones that are trying to get them to stop breaking the law in jail with the new laws that they're doing. And it was like, well, join a community with like minds, go to your local representatives, go see about maybe somebody. And I was like, but no, what if they own the courts? What if they own this? What if they own that? And then they said, I mean, I wish I had it in front of me so I could say it verbatim, because it's frightening. It said, well, what you're telling me, and if this is exactly what you're asking me, this is a dire situation. This is something that is this is dangerous. And it was recommending, and I can't even believe it. I couldn't believe it. It was recommending things like the Black Panthers and stuff like that. Now, look, the Black Panthers have gotten a bum rap. They did good for their community. What they did is they had no one to fucking stand up for who they were. I'm tired of all of us being just a pawn. We're all just, I also asked another thing with AI, a tough question. Why don't the rich pay fucking taxes?
Hey, just real quick, please.
No F words. I'm sorry.
Please watch the F bombs. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, that will be the last F bomb.
Thank you.
Okay. Why don't they pay taxes? How much taxes do they pay in relation? We are actually 98%, 0.5% of the people. There are 500 billionaires. There are 1 million millionaires. Those 2 categories collected pay about $230 trillion in taxes a year. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it? But the rest of us, and you know what? They pay, that's about 3% of their earnings. We pay upwards of about 36, 8, 40%. We, as the 98%, pay about $800 trillion. And wow, that's a little, Justice, a Lady Justice, I think she's got her eyes wrapped because the scales are very unbalanced. This is incredible. And I asked it, like, why don't they pay? Why don't they pay their fair share? Don't you think they should pay their fair share? Isn't this not equal, among men? I mean, all for one, one for all, right? And then it said that, they should actually, well, the way they get through all that is because they promised to put money into the infrastructure, into libraries, into schools, into all of these things. And that's what gets them all of these giant tax breaks. But the thing is what they're doing is getting rid of all of those things. They love nothing more than to get rid of the Department of Education, to burn the books, to close the libraries. Knowledge was free at one time, and it was free thought. You could go now. I mean, what do? You want to go to college? They weigh you down with school loans to where you're barely surviving, and just to pay that off, you're working a waitress job. I've been there. I've done that. I've worked laborious jobs my whole life. I've born in 1973. My birthday is July 31st. And I've done nothing but hard jobs. For over 25 years, I worked in the movie industry as a set painter in the construction department, the pre-production, not with the beautiful people, not with the, quote, talent. I've worked on, and you guys were talking about Marvel. My first job, I live in New Orleans. I'm originally from California. That's too long of a story to get into, but I started working in the film industry in New Orleans. Well, after Katrina, losing everything I had in 2 homes because I was moving from one to the other, lower 9th Ward, another place, 9 foot of water, 3 foot of water, lost it all. I moved back home, California, because IATSE, the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, said anyone displaced from Katrina, you can go anywhere in the country and we'll help you to get back on your feet again, at least get you employment. I was like, heck yeah. I could go home and see my mom, my dad, my brothers, try to get back on my feet. I have nothing. And first movie I worked on, got my days on, Spider-Man 3. No kidding, Spider-Man 3. But I went from the bottom to running, to spearheaded underneath my husband, me and him, leading the scenic department, leading the set painting department, running our shows, having a crew of 35, 40 people under us. That first show was Thor reshoots. Second one, Captain America reshoots in Hollywood, where everybody's nepotistic. They're set in, they're third generation. Everyone was like, who the hell are these guys? Where did they come from? And we came in there by storm, and we came in there and we stormed it, man. We did great. And then, long story short, I mean, we stayed there for 7 years, flourished, come back to Louisiana. And because, husband's from here originally. And we come back here, elderly parents, and we come back here. We were the top dogs here. Show after show after show. And, pardon me. And we worked out here until nonstop. I mean, praying for a day off. And then it comes to the writer's strike. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it comes to 2020. We all know what that was. That lasted utterly too long. And we were forced to stay home. We were forced to stay home 18 months longer because they were so worried about the talent, not us, the talent getting sick. And how do we do new protocols? And how do we get around this COVID thing? How do we, because you want to talk about a super spreader, you could do it in one day. When you talk about all the departments who are around each other, from, labor to construction, to prop makers, to painters, to set decorators, to, you name it, to the art department you have to mingle with. I mean, it's nonstop. And there were a few breakouts. And, it's been tough for me too as a woman in this situation. I didn't have anybody. I didn't have a family member or anybody to do it. So I get in there and I'm gonna prove why I've earned my way to be there, why I'm qualified to be there in this union. It's a union. And I'm in two unions technically, I was 729, which is the set painters and sign writers out in LA and Hollywood. That's the union card of all cards. You can go anywhere in the country. And out here, local 478. Out here, man, that's why I'm nervous. And, but I want to scream from the top of the mountain as loud as it is, because I don't understand why people aren't more outraged right now. What is going on is absolutely terrifying. And everybody, you have these guys coming out the gate going, we got to move fast. We got to move quick. We're going to make mistakes, but we're going to fix them real fast. But what happened is they got up the line before Democrats or anyone else who are trying to still follow the law. Well, they're not. And meanwhile, they're getting away with a bag. They're way ahead. And we're just kind of going, well, I think that this might not be illegal, or is this right? And, it is insane what's going on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry that stuff's happening. And look, but there's good stuff in there. There's bad stuff in there. And
but AI too is a part of shutting us down.
You're right.
Yeah, so they get through the writer strike, they get through the actor strike, we get through COVID, we do all that, and we get through that. Boom. No, writer strike, actor strike, AI. That totally rewrote movie making. I mean, it's what used to be a multi-billion-dollar industry, recession-proof industry, is now tanked. My 25-year career is done. And not only was I being stabbed in the back here in a red state because I'm a outspoken liberal chick working in a man's world here in the South. It's tough. I was a part of my own downfall, because I'm not mega, and I will never be. But so since all that happened, I just fell in. It's not safe anymore to go out. They've made it to where, they've made it to where we're the bad guys. The liberal lunatic left. It couldn't be further from the truth. They're the ones that are creating the chaos, creating the problems, and then saying you're the stem of it. And while they're keeping everybody hypnotized. And the two best inventions, the Bible and the smartphone. This is what's keeping everybody chained. This is what it's doing. They would love nothing more. And your last caller, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, because nobody wants to listen to me because I'm a bummer. Because I talk about this, because this is real. This is now. This is like, this has to stop now. And what do you do? And AI said, this is dire. And it freaked me out. I couldn't believe it's actually really, in my opinion, giving me an honest answer. And it said, watch out.
Yeah, okay. Wait, hold on. This is very important. This is very important.
Please, yeah, thank you. And I'm sorry.
You're okay.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. You're okay. This is why we talk to each other. If we can, you're okay. This is very, very important, though. I have to make this point for not just you, for me, for everybody else.
Thank you.
It does not matter what AI says. It doesn't.
No, I'm not concentrated on AI. I'm concentrated on what's happening to our country dwindling right now. Our rights, our people.
Hold on. You said that AI said it was dire. Okay, so I'm just trying to describe to you, like, try and decouple whatever a large language model says, because that is part of that manipulation. And I'm not disagreeing. No. Wait, hold on. And I'm not disagreeing with you on any of that stuff.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
I'm not disagreeing with you on any of that stuff. It is very political leany here or there, but look, it is your lived experience, and it's brutal, and it's not just happening to you.
No, don't you think it's dire right now? What's going on? How they're treating alligator Auschwitz? What's going on in this country? It is dire.
Hold on. It is dire in the sense that what's happening to you right now, and you describing
not
it
to me, to our country. I'm in the back burner. I'm worried about the immigrants.
Please.
I'm worried about now the thing that they put on our homeless people. What they did by putting that new mandated thing that he showed everybody with his signature, because he's so proud he can write his name, to attack the homeless now. What that did is that opened the door for the rest of us.
Okay.
It is.
Wait. Hold on.
Dire.
Hold on. I'm thinking about what's happening to you. Okay. All the rest of that stuff right now is noise. What's happening to you?
Oh my God.
I'm saying in this conversation, me and you. Because this goes wide range, left and right, sideways and upside down, and turn into all manner of stuff.
Complex.
But hold on.
Yes.
What you're describing is happening to you in this moment. 25 years of a career that just got flushed down the toilet. Guess what?
Yes.
Guess what? I'm sorry for that.
What?
That sucks. It's about it's about to happen to all of us, is my point. And it's a good point for everybody else out there. It's a good point for everybody else out there to recognize the world is changing incredibly quickly, and this is the first wave of these types of stories that are going to inundate us over the next couple years.
Yes.
It's very important.
I'm a part of that weed out too. All those, you know, that most of the people that they fired and got rid of and just deleted, no notice, most of those people were veterans, dude. The people that are the homeless, most of them are veterans. It's the most disgraceful thing how we're treating our own countrymen. We have a traitor in office, and it is incredible. It's the beginning of the weed out, dude. Do you know, too, when I told you how much tax money we bring in, do you know that the undocumented, that they provide $900 billion a year? $900 billion, and they don't collect off of it. That goes into our Social Security. This is all the reason why they're shipping them out. They want to ship them out so that we have a food shortage. They want to ship them out so that they stop contributing to Social Security. They're trying to crash Social Security. They're trying to crash us. It is dire. I am insignificant to the bigger picture. And I don't understand why people aren't fucking out. I'm sorry, outraged. The only people I've seen, oh my God, Al Gore. He actually got a little worked up. I was like, yeah, Al. And God bless Bernie. And boy, did he get screwed out of that election. Imagine where we would be right now. If he hadn't got screwed out of that, they're giving it to her. They shoot her in because of Trump. They knew he would win. It is this thing, the thing why we keep doing the movies over and over and over. We are a fast food society. We only want what makes us feel comfortable with what we are familiar with. Like, you know, we're afraid of change. We're afraid of being adventurous, about doing a new movie. I know it. Most of the stuff I worked on was crap. And it's like, you know, give us more The Shape of Water. Give us more stuff like that. But you know what that does? That inspires thought. That inspires, you know, being open-minded and like, wow, breaking out of that box, out of that shell that they are trying to keep it all in. They want everybody on that smartphone. They wanted us in those homes. And what happened was, in that short amount of time, the Earth tried to rejuvenate, and it did. Quickly, there's phosphorus back in our waters. And we've got more plugged in. Streaming, that's another thing that kicked me out of my career. Streaming, AI, and all the strikes, and everybody going back to the negotiation board. But people, you know, they make you think, okay, let's give you AI, let's give you all these gadgets, let's give you all this weird energy around us. You know, between the sun and all the coronal mass ejections and stuff going on, yeah, we've been having some technical difficulties, huh? Controlled electric blackouts, non-controlled. I mean, my Verizon, my cable, all that was down for 2 days. Verizon wouldn't disclose why. It's happening everywhere. And you know, the manipulation of the weather, the electronics, they want us plugged into that. There is no free thought anymore because they don't want you thinking. That's why they keep you going back to the same dinner, back to the same movie, redo the same movie. They're keeping you in that, chasing your tail with a promise, you know, pitch to the end that they'll never fulfill and that you'll never get. And they fooled you into thinking that you'll get so tired of that winning. You'll get tired of winning. I don't need your votes anymore. After this, it will be fixed. It's all fixed. You know what? Right now, and they say, oh, you know, we always rebound. Dude, this time, this is pretty severe. It's too late. Even if you do heal from an injury, sometimes you're walking without a leg, a major, you know, whatever. I mean, look at, once again, back to our veterans that we don't take care of. Why would we shut down clinics for veterans and their support hotlines? Why would we do all that?
Akashic
Why
Links.
are we doing that to us?
Akashic Links. What is your first name?
Marissa. You can call me Riss.
Marissa.
Call me Riss. That's my name.
Riss. My name is Mike. Look, you were you were preaching to the choir here, and we are meandering late into the night in all different
And
ways.
I'm sorry.
No,
It
hold on.
could be me and you. If people want to tune out, they can tune out. But
No, hold on. I just want to make a point on this: is that you're not the only one hurting, and you're in the right place. You're absolutely in the right place. And in the larger context of this conversation, there are some changes happening that will never go back on. And I don't know what that looks like. Okay. But
what happened to precedent?
Wait, hold on.
If you can't double jeopardy.
Please hold on. Please let me, please. So all that other stuff aside, to me, the most important part of this is we're going to turn over a new economy. And that,
oh my God, dude, they're trying to crash our economy.
Wait, that by and large minimizes people. And if we don't do this right, we have a massive problem on our hands. And so it's incumbent on us to recognize what's happening, to be vigilant, to understand it, and to talk to each other. So you're definitely in the right place. Okay.
Yeah.
And, okay. All the rest of that stuff it is way too late in the night for me to even touch any of that. Okay, because we are 20 minutes past. We are 20 minutes past when we should have ended. So
I'm sorry.
You're fine. You're welcome
You know what?
here.
Actually, you can please omit the end of the show. I'm embarrassed. I'm pissed. What I'm saying is by virtue of losing my career, I have been isolated from all this stuff. And I don't talk to people anymore. It isn't safe to talk to people. When I did, I started doing my own polls at work because when the first election was going on, it was so ludicrous. I mean, and this is the other thing. This is why everybody is such a fan, because he's been the staple. He's been that comfort food. He's been that creature of comfort. He's been in everyone's living room way before he ran for president. Everybody's used to him. Nobody likes new. Nobody likes, what was Obama when he ran on hope? Something new, something fresh, Buttigieg. I mean, these are all, no, that's scary. Something I don't know about is scary. I might not like it. It's like being the one person on that dance floor and everybody's going to look at you and ridicule you. But once that one person goes, there's usually that rush. But I'm a freak. I'm a kid of deadhead hippie parents. I've been ridiculed and bullied my whole life. I've been that one person that's always been ostracized to the side.
Okay.
Wait. People want to get rid of that. They don't like truth tellers.
Okay. My point is you are not ostracized and you belong here. And you're
not here. This is a safe place. Thank you, and I'm sorry.
And your frustration is valid, and I'm sorry for all those things.
Because I can't talk about it anywhere, and I'm scared to talk about it. And on top of that, I've got tons of UFO photos, tons of video, all this stuff. You wouldn't believe the stuff I've seen. I swear to God.
Okay.
Do you know that they fly in and out of the sun?
Yes, I've heard that. Do me a massive favor then, okay?
I have video, hours, dude.
Do me a massive favor. Please call back and tell us about that, okay? Like it is late. It is late here. We're not going to get into that right now.
I'm sorry. I called at the end because
you're okay. The first time caller, long time listener, and look, we're all scared. And this is the point of talking to each other, okay? Recognize there are people out there that will have your back, and we need to recognize this within each other, within communities and groups and all the things, and do continue to reach out and talk to people. Venting is good. Getting these ideas out.
There's no one to talk to here, but I finally worked up the courage to call y'all. Sorry I waited to the end of the show. It's beautiful what you've created. You've created a safe place, but you know what? They're infiltrating it all. They're going to shut it all down. But the damage is done. I mean, seriously, I will call back at a later date. I'm sorry I waited to the end of the show.
That's okay. First-time callers get special treatment. Thank you for listening.
First-time caller. Thanks, guys. Don't hold it against me. I'd rather you just delete my part.
Okay.
Love y'all.
You're the best.
Talk to you again. Bye.
I look forward to talking to you in the future.
You're the best. We're the rest of the best.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That's Akashic Links over there on Discord. Please go pop in here. Come say hi. Again, this is the point of this is that, look, if we don't talk to each other and get this stuff out, we have problems. We have problems together, right? And we can resolve some of these things. It doesn't always have to be the whatever the powers that be, like, especially let's break it off from politics entirely and say, back to where I started on this years ago, is saying, look, we don't have to wait for any government entity to tell us disclosure is here or whatever. Like if we have actual sightings ourselves, if we have actual photos or videos, these types of things, they need to get put out there. They need to get released. And we don't have to wait for anybody to tell us these things. And it goes fractally through the political space and all the rest of the zeitgeist and culture, as we're talking about. All this is very important. And not to minimize any of that. We're just not really a political show, so I don't want to make comments on any of that stuff typically. But we have, like I said, one of the most important things in my mind. The political space is a disaster. It has been for basically my entire life. Getting worse, probably, definitely, in terms of the last, I don't even have to say it. But I think there's a larger problem here that's in our face that is, again, Akashic Links. Rissa, thank you for the call. Thank you for the testimony and the story there and all the stuff. This is going to happen to all of us. And what happens next? There needs to be some sort of smooth transition. And if there's not, we're going to have a big time problem on our hands. And so pay attention and stay locked in and stay paying mind to your neighbors, paying mind to the people that need to communicate with human beings, not with large language models, not with entities from wherever, robots or whatever these things are. People. Pay attention. It's incredibly important. That's my final thought on that. Let's wrap it up. Thanks for the call, Rissa. Nice to meet you. James, anything on that? And let's wrap it. Well, James has tapped into the Zeitgeist once again, so I don't know what the hell happened with that. So let's wrap it. It's too late, Matthew. It's too late, bro. I'm not taking another call. Okay, so thank you again for being part of this with us, guys. Thanks for staying up late. Thanks for caring about the ideas and the conversations. And look, like I've said in the past, we are we are culture. Like we are the economy. We are all of these things that they use in this abstract sense. We are it. We are part of it. We make up the constituent components of these things. And so when they use them against us in this large conglomerate level sense of ideas, we need to be smarter than that. And Rissa, like I said, I'm sorry to hear all that stuff. There's a lot happening there, and it's about to happen to any drivers out there? Yeah, me. Guess what? Robo-taxis are in Austin, Texas. Any office workers out there? Yeah, many of you, maybe not. Guess what? You're about to be replaced in the next 18 months entirely. This is I'm telling you, we're in a space that is changing so fast that we've never seen anything like this. And I don't know the answers. I'm not going to say that I'm scared. I'm going to say that I'm concerned. But it is up to us to pay attention, to recognize what is happening, and do the best we can for humanity. And I think it's apt to bring up a couple quotes here. Margaret Mead, shout out to our good friend Daryl there in New York. Here's the first one. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And the second one from George Orwell, and these are from memory, so if I botch them a little bit, I apologize. George Orwell said, it's not so much staying alive that's important. It's staying human. What is most important is that we do not betray each other. And I think we're coming to this space where we're going to test these ideas. And that becomes the question. Do you have that in you? To do what's best for you and to do what's best for us. And of course, I have all the faith in the world that that is the truth. Thank you again for staying up late. Thanks for being part of this. Thanks for the great conversations, and thanks for the ideas. And look, I get it. I understand there's a lot of people out there that are scared from a lot of things. There's a lot of things happening in the fractal space. A lot of information flowing through. A lot of terrible things happening. What do? I think the very first thing is we should not be afraid. That's the very first thing. Everything else after that becomes whatever it becomes. Don't be afraid, please. As we finish this one, if you want to help Troubled Minds help our friends. Sorry about that, James. You spurred out again and tapped into the Zeitgeist. It was all the weird noise. If you want to help Troubled Minds help our friends, troubledminds.org/friends, of course, and spread the word. Let people know a conversation is happening, but we're not going to tell you who to vote for. And we're going to talk about larger contextual spaces. And yeah, thanks for being part of this. As we finish, it goes exactly like this. This one's for Arissa, if you're out there still listening. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night.